making history. Absolutely phenomenal.
And Ace is the champion of the Intel Extreme Masters World Finals.
Storm's still not quite done. MC is going to take this fight, though. 3 seconds left.
Last 2 rounds of matches got to start it well for ESC.
And this is a massive move for Zez, but he's not content with just a Nexus kill. He wants to win.
And it's all done. And Charlotte's winning.
Unbelievable Rogue with a 4-0 victory over Classic.
And they did it again in the grand finals. It's gold!
Give it up for your Intel Extreme Masters World Champion!
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second server qualifier of the tournament of the IEM Katowice 2024 European Open Server Qualifier. I'm of course host Live VIP, and with me I'm joined this time by my lovely plushies before me, and oh boy, here we go. The pressure is on. A couple of days ago, yesterday and the day before, for the past 2 days, we have been covering the Asia server qualifiers, and we have our first players making it into IEM Katowice. Tonight is the first European qualifier. The open qualifier tomorrow is the closed. We're here to determine who else makes it through to IEM Katowice, who gets that plane ticket, who can make it to that main event. And tonight we have some returning players, which is what we assumed would happen. Basically, this is a server qualifier. This is not region locked, and some of the players that did not make it through the Asia Open qualifiers are here tonight in the European Open qualifiers. We have some big names. I'm talking Classic, I'm talking DRG, Creator, Gumiho. Some of the big Korean names are here, intermix alongside the Europeans, of course, and even some Americans as well. So it's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy. It is going to be a brutal bracket, and it is single elimination. Double elimination comes by the way of the closed qualifier. That's going to be tomorrow, but for today, it's all single elim, one and done, and top 8 will advance on. Top 8 will make it into the closed qualifier, which will be taking place tomorrow. So yeah, it's gonna get quite intense, and we already have our first matchup, as you can see before you here. We're gonna be getting into something a little bit different, something a little bit special. Dolan versus Ashbringer. I'm ready for it. I am ready for it here, as I'm just letting the players know that we are, of course, getting ready. It is going to be a TVP, Dolan, of course, being one of our own, one of the CranKy Ducklings, up against Ashbringer, Asherber's cousin. Oh, it's so fitting. it's so fitting, Bobby, so fitting. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket, it's big, it's huge, it's massive. I believe there's a round of 124, sorry, a round of 128. A lot of players are getting involved, and again, a big reason for this is because all the regions are colliding. We have the Europeans, we have the Koreans, we have some Chinese players, and we even have some Americans as well, as we have one here before you. I did see Dolan. We're going to be following Dolan for now throughout the course of this bracket. We may even be able to cover like different portions of the bracket as well, depending on how fast or how slow this section is. And yeah, there's a lot to go over, and we'll go over the bracket ourselves, you know, in a moment, in a moment's time, as we dive into this TVP. Once we wrap up the series, we can have a moment to actually go over the bracket and go over some of those other matches that are ongoing. It's big, it's huge, a lot of games going on, a lot of games, and here we go. We're diving into game number 1 of this best of 3 series, and spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Teal Protoss player representing Team Starcom. It is Ashbringer, not Asherber. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Terran player. He's one of our own. He is one of the CranKy Ducklings. It is Dolan. I see in the chat is Dolan from Europe. As I mentioned before, this is an open server qualifier. You can be from anywhere in the world, and you can compete in these qualifiers. Doesn't matter where you are from the Americas, from Korea, from Southeast Asia, Oceania, from the rest of Asia, or even the Americas. Tis open to all. Which is why we saw a couple of European players compete in the Asia server qualifiers as well. They didn't have too much success, but they did compete nonetheless. I think the highlight of that when it came to the foreigners trying to make it through the Asia server qualifiers was Showtime. If you remember, Showtime went to the ace match against SOS. Showtime unfortunately didn't make it into the close qualifiers, but he came close. He did come close. It's all good. He will have another chance here in the European qualifiers. We'll have another chance. Meanwhile, for now, we do have a gate expanded standard opener, very economic opener here from Ashbringer. Meanwhile, across the map, Dolan, everything is in the main base. Very important to take note of. Dolan is a very aggressive and a very creative player in his own right. And he's going to be going for a double gas opener, is going to be going straight for that factory. He has been known for going for proxy shenanigans and hyper-aggressive styles. For now, everything is looking normal, but I'm sure throughout this series it's going to be anything but normal. Like Dolan, he can be a very quirky player, very difficult to read. We'll see how aggressive he's going to be. I don't expect to see a normal standard game in a TVP, not from Dolan. I expect to see some 1-base shenanigans, some 2-base shenanigans as well, as he's going for a Reaper first into that reactor. He's going to be patrolling here on the high ground. The probe is going to be coming back in. The Reaper is in position, and we will shut that probe down. Do we get a scout? We do not. We do not get up the ramp. We do not see the CC on the high ground. As Dolan is expanding, he is not going all in. But again, Ashbringer doesn't know that. The question becomes, does Ashbringer, is he aware of Dolan? Is he aware of his reputation? We do have a safety shield battery in the main base. Reaper is going to be getting across the map. We do have a sentry here on the low ground. It is a sentry-based opener. I think this is very smart from Ashbringer, as Reaper does slip in. It's again going to be disrupting some of these workers. The shield battery is going to be able to hold on, and the Reaper is not going to get shot down. Barely does escape. But again, this is the power of the sentry opener in this matchup, is you get the hallucination. The scout is zooming across the map, and we're going to be able to get a read of what is going on. And again, I do think this is a really smart way to play against Dolan. As we can see, it is going to be a bit of a 2-on-1 here. That's the second Rax on the way, but the Cyclone's in position. We do get the lock on, and we do shut down the hallucination. Quickly checking, what did we see? We saw the Rax, the factory, not much else. We didn't see the gases, we didn't see the CC on the high ground, or the second Rax. So some incomplete information here from Ashbringer. Dolan doing a great job at shutting down the hallucination. And we already have our first tank on the way. We're not amassing Cyclones. Cyclones have their place, and we have seen quite a lot of them in the new patch, especially in this matchup, but no, we're building up the tank counts, we're building up the bio count as well. It is not just a 2-on-1, it's going to be a 3-1-1 setup that is 3 Raxes. So we are delaying the starport in favor of additional Raxes. That means that we are going to be building up a very hefty bio count, going to be hitting a timing of stim. We already have the second tank on the way. I believe we're going to be pushing with 3 tanks, maybe 4. It's going to be a terrifying attack on the way here from Dolan, and he's working on it. Again, Ashbringer for the time being is not aware. I do appreciate this though. He's going for a Twilight Council opener. Very fast forward as well. It's coming back to me. I remember. This is something very unique to Ashbringer. We've casted him many times in OSC King of the Hill, but it's been a while since I've had the luxury of casting Ashbringer. But yeah, this is something very unique to him. Where we rush into +1, we're getting to charge a very gateway heavy composition, a very upgrade focused, and yeah, we're gonna have quite a lot of Zealots to deal with this. And hey, that could be a really good way to shut down something like a tank push. Hallucination Scout is going to be coming back in, and this time we're going to see everything. We're going to see the factory, all 3 Raxes, and the mining natural as well. That is enough of a tell. I mean, we see everything that there is to be seen, and Ashbringer can start getting ready. He's now aware that Dolan should be going for a big tank push across the map. There's that 3rd tank coming out before going for the add-on swap, and Ashbringer is going to be preparing. There it is. We're going to be warping in a couple of extra sentries. Immortal production has commenced. Now, because Dolan got scattered, I wonder how he reacts. He did throw down an eBay for +1. So he's going to be working on some upgrades, but okay, we're still going to be pushing out, so we're still getting ready to move out nonetheless. And we'll see if this is going to be enough. Again, tanks are not ideal against charged lots. You can close the distance, you can get on top of them, but a lot of this is going to come down to the overall supplies here. Immortals also will help when it comes to busting through those tanks. It's going to be the job of these Marines to try to keep them alive. Bearing in mind that we're not pulling the boys. There it is. +1 attack is on the way. And now we get the add-on swap to get into those medevacs. Charge is complete. Dolan trying to find a way, and he is spotted by the hallucination. Ashbringer sees, Ashbringer knows. And he's even coming in for a surround as well, coming in from both angles. Oof. Is going to get spotted though. Big tank shot's going to be going off. We're committing. We're diving on the arm. We're gonna try to kite our heart out here. Pulling back. Good target firing overall. The sentries do go down. We kite against the zealots. And the zealots will fall, but they take down the tanks, and that was the backbone of this army. The tank count gets reset, and Dolan has to get the hell out of here. So, a solid defense. Looking at the units lost, sure, we did lose a lot of supply. That was a lot of minerals lost for Ashbringer, but it was only zealots. Only minerals, really. I mean, the sentries went down as well, but we maintained our immortal count. So Ashbringer survives, and Dolan has to pivot away and get into a third CC. Let's go. The third base is on the way from Dolan. And again, it did feel like early on he was aware that this push would not kill his opponent. That's why he was working on at least the eBay upgrades. Behind this, Ashbringer getting towards his third base. And he's third on location. Now that zealot count is significantly smaller than it once was, so Dolan has potential with this attack. He also has a little bit more sustainability with those medevacs. He can push forward, he can try to break in. So he's going to be arriving with a 1 tank. A couple of reinforcements are on the way. And can we make some magic happen here? The tank, it does seize. There is no shield battery. There is no overcharge so far. Kiting well against those zealots. Yeah, the shields are going to be popped. And we do cancel the third base. So far, so good here from Dolan. Meanwhile, across the map, ooh, a War Prism going straight for the main base. Uh-oh. We're going for a big Zealot Warp in. This is going to be forcing the all-in. I imagine it will. At the same time, though, Dolan, he's edging ever closer. Getting on top of the army. Once again, big tank shot's going to be going off. But here we go. The Zealots get into the main. SCVs are going down. Yeah, the boys, they're being pulled away. Reinforcements are going back home to try to clean this up. But Dolan, we got to keep pushing. Yeah, overcharge was popped a little bit prematurely. Shield battery runs out. The Zealots are going to go down as well. Yeah, the boys, they have to be pulled. But against all these Marines, I don't think there's enough. The tank, no shot. It survives. The tank does not get picked off. Extra volleys go off as well. The Archon falls, but it looks like Ashbringer is going to be able to hold on. Meanwhile, across the map, Zealots, they continue to be warped in. They're getting into the main base. Dolan has to retreat. But the Zealot run-by hasn't done much here. Dolan is still up in workers. We still have mules. Most of the SCVs were saved. Maybe I spoke too soon. There's a couple of SCVs that are going to be going down here against the Prism. Prism does survive. But Dolan, he has the better economy. He's on 3 CC. Ashbringer is knocked down to 2 bases. And suddenly the turns have tabled. Suddenly Ashbringer is the player that's all in. He's down a base. He's down in the economy. He needs to make something happen here. He needs to at least deny the third here and now. Okay, we're warping in more Archons, more Zealots. Good tank positioning here on the high ground. Dolan, I'm sure he's aware of how ahead he is, and he knows all he has to do is survive. Of course, he has to be wary of that War Prism. We could still go for a big warp in into the main base. Dolan is aware of that. Oh, the army, though, here at the natural, this tank on the low ground is quite exposed. Here we go, Dolan. Now spots the army. The first tank is, oh my god, not going to go down. Ashbringer pulling back here. He sees the army. He wants none of it. But there's no other option. Like, the problem is, like, what are we coming back to? There's no other base. There is no third. Ashbringer going to be pivoting away. Going into the main. No, there's Vikings. Vikings are in position. The Prism is going to go down. Ay, ay, ay. We get the recall. We're going to save the Archons at least. And we turn back around. And again, the problem here is that what do we really have? Now we start a third base. Oof, a very late third here from Ashbringer. Meanwhile, Dolan is snowballing out of control. We have Ghosts, we have Vikings, EMPs. The tank count is looking quite terrifying once again. And Dolan is going for a massive push. Now, to be fair, if he gets caught unsieged, if he misses the EMPs, then Ashbringer can maybe take a fight, but there is a lot working against him. There we go, the tanks, they siege once again. Army's going to be engaging good EMP on the Immortals. On some of the rest of the units as well. We're going to try to engage. We do get on top of the tanks at least. And Ashbringer, he does force this back. The EMP is not quite connecting with all the Archons, and Ashbringer, he does hold. Whew. Was fortunate that one of those tanks was unsieged. And Ashbringer, he's going to be chasing this all the way back home as well. And what did he really lose there? He kept most of his Archons alive. It's going to be a tank on the high ground. Once again, it's exposed. Tank is going to be going down. We'll put a big EMP on those sentries, and it looks like Dolan, he should be able to collapse on this army. The Vikings land. The Archons are going down. There's nothing to protect the Immortals. No. And that is going to be the final units of Ashbringer being cleaned up here. 4th CC gets thrown down. And Ashbringer, what does he have left? He has a handful of gateway units. He has 1 Archon. A soon-to-be Immortal. But no splash damage, no Storm, no Colossus, no Disruptors. Archons are his best bet, and it looks like Dolan, he's weathered the storm. He's up to 71 workers. He's got a pretty damn good army supply as well. He's moving out, and this could potentially be the final push of the game. I mean, Ashbringer back at home, there's no shield battery, there's no overcharge here at his 3rd. There is a shield battery at his natural, so he could try to maybe kite back to the natural to help support himself. Dolan is checking for a 4th, scans, sees the saturation. We do have a couple of extra weapons of Zealots though. Ashbringer, he can take a fight. 100%. There's only 1 tank with this. Dolan, he sees the army. With good EMPs though, Dolan, he can just chew through this. There's the stim. There's the stim here on the army. Ashbringer, he has to commit. There's no turning back. Big EMPs here on the Archons. Oh my god. Not so much on the Zealots though. The Zealots, they're breaking through. Good target firing on the Archons. Dolan turning back around, arriving with another reinforcing tank. Still has, I think, 1 EMP left in the chamber. Well, the ghosts are getting picked off though. Pretty big trades here from Ashbringer, not gonna lie. Dolan may have the better economy, and he's double expanding, taking a 4th and a 5th base. These trades, though, they have been brutal. Again, against Shajal Archon, the lack of Widow Mines is really being emphasized here. It's so difficult for Dolan to actually take good trades. Nice EMP on at least 1 Archon. Come reinforcements though, and yeah, this time we should be able to clean this up. The Zealots are going down, the Archon out of shields, and it looks like Dolan has done it. GG gets called. Dolan taking game number 1. Whew, GG. Some of those fights were looking a little bit terrifying, not gonna lie. Some of them were a little bit concerning, but all in all, Dolan does take it in the end. He does take a 1-0 lead in this series. But that is merely a lead. It's still a best of 3. And this could still go either direction. Could still go either way. Whew. As Dolan does take the first game. But now we're going to be getting ready for game number 2. An opportunity here for Ashbringer to fight back, to bounce back, and force the ace match. Catching up in the chat, and a big shout out to SE2 full Senor Jaime. Mr. Jamie Sausage, welcome. Hope you had a good stream. Hope you had a good ladder session. Welcome everyone to the Open European Server Qualifier for IEM Katowice 2024. Welcome. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves, and we're here in our first series, our first of many. Again, it's a very big bracket. Plenty of games are going to be had, and we will do our best to bring you as much of it as we can. Catching up. It's big, it's huge. It's what she said. Oh, you're an animal. You're an animal, Papi. As we're getting ready for that second game, we're going to be loading into Alcyone. Let's go. here. I just realized I don't have the clock working on Momenta. There we go. This morning, in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkion, we have the Teal Protoss player, the Teal Protoss representing Team Starcom, down in this series, hoping to fight back, looking to fight back. It is Ashbringer. And this morning, in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Terran player representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's one of our own. He is Dolan. And we have an SCV that went the long way around. We are looking for an eBay block here at the natural. Dolan being a little bit cheeky here, being quite annoying as the SCV has arrived. The eBay is thrown down. This is a very common practice in Terran versus Protoss, and this forces the Protoss player to expand elsewhere. We should not be finishing the eBay. We're going to be pulling out just before it finishes. So we'll see if the pull-out game of Dolan is on point. And again, this is going to be forcing either the triangular third or the linear third base to be taken instead from Ashbringer. And that will be exposing himself. That will give Dolan the opportunity to get into a double gas opener, into a faster factory, and try to punish the exposed bases of his opponent. And oh my god, that was 99% complete here as Dolan does end up pulling out. And as a result, we do have a Zealot on the way. It looks like Ashbringer, he wants to try to DPS this down. It looks like Ashbringer is going for a delayed expansion. Meanwhile, across the map, SCV will fall. Nice pick up here from Ashbringer, and yeah, it's gonna take a while for this Zealot to DPS through this eBay, but it looks like Ashbringer, he refuses to expand elsewhere. It will take quite some time for him to actually take his natural base, but again, that is the route that Ashbringer has chosen. On the flip side here, it's gonna be on Dolan to force a cancel. To cancel just before he loses his eBay, making sure he gets the refund, making sure he gets his resources back. Behind this, getting into a 2x follow-up. Interesting. Up! As we do cancel in time. Oh my god. We do cancel in time. And there it is, Ashbringer going for a delayed expansion, going for his tech first. He took his double gases. He's going into a Stargate opener. Interesting. Now this can lead into Phoenixes or Oracles, one or the other. Phoenixes, of course, they grant you map control, but if Ashbringer, if he feels pressured to come back into this economically, an Oracle could be on the horizon instead. Meanwhile, we should be moving out soon as well. We were forced to make a Zealot and this first Adept early on. We should be trying to get some value here, gain some value for Ashbringer. CC is going to be on location. We're going for a 3-Rax follow-up, actually. Oh my god. Okay. Do have my attention. 3 Raxes are upon us. Adept's going to be threatening Shades. And there it is. We have the Oracle first, not the Phoenix. Sorry, I'm just tweeting. Just tweeting. We have gone live, but there we go. The first Oracle zooming across the map. It's going to be a single Oracle into Phoenixes for Ashbringer. He's not doubling down and investing into a second Oracle, but regardless, he's looking for some economic damage. We do have a couple of Marines in position, but only 3 Marines. The rest are looking for any kind of stray Adept or hidden pylon. Looking for some damage as the Oracle does dive into the main. The Marines, though, they are amassing. They're ready for this. Oh, and we do not get an SCV. Forced to throw down that Revelation. We get eyes on the 3-Rax. Big scout here from Ashbringer, but he doesn't kill any workers. Not ideal. But at least he's aware that a hefty Marine army is coming his way. Now, when it comes to a 3-Rax, this is usually a timing with Stim, and this is ideal against a Stargate opener. We're going for a safety Void Ray. Makes sense. We only made 1 Phoenix. Okay, so I'm pretty sure initially we did want to invest into additional Phoenixes, but specifically against a 3-Rax, Phoenix production can kill you. So we're going into a safety Void Ray, going into a transition towards a Twilight Council. Additional gateways should be Charge or Blink on the way. Blink would make the most sense, but we're going into Charge. I was going to say Blink would make sense to shut down drop play, especially if we are not investing into any more Phoenixes, but we're going for Charge instead. Ooh, big Stasis Trap is thrown down. We could see a juicy connection here. Dolan has to be very careful with how he engages. He is aware of the Oracle. I'm sure he's aware of the potential for a stasis trap. He is going to be moving forward with one Marine first just to tank that shot. So, nice, kind of nice foresight here from Dolan. He doesn't come across the probe, goes for the scan, sees the army. There's a shield battery overcharged, plenty of charge lots. They are slow though, they do not have charge, but Dolan, he's going to respect it, he's going to back off. Wise choice here from Dolan. Meanwhile, we have a proxy gateway across the map so we can reinforce, we can harass. And the game is going to be progressing from here. The game will be progressing. Ashbringer going for an Oracle Scout across the map once again, just to get a read on whether or not there's a third TC. We can see that for now we're still on 2-base play. Getting into our 3-1-1 setup. Medevac production has commenced. Marauders are going to be joining the fray as well. This army is looking pretty terrifying, actually. that's a lot of DPS. Charge just now finishing. Ashbringer working on his third base. The Oracle does come in. That means it's not at him to defend. We go for the scanner. We're looking for the cancel. Yeah, we don't waste the stim either. Get a cancel on the third base, get a kill on the pylon, getting a couple of workers as well. Other probes. Oh, we do pull back, thankfully. And again, Dolan being so mature here, just holding on to that stim, doesn't want to waste it. Again, because it doesn't have any medevacs, every stim does hurt his army. It does pull back. Meanwhile, Ashbringer investing into another Void Ray. You don't really get to see Void Rays in this matchup too often, but it makes sense just if we're trying to be safe, if we're trying to survive. Just whatever DPS you can muster. Does make sense for Ashbringer. Dolan rocks up once again. He's looking for that cancel, does scan the army. Still a lot of Zealots though. We're going in! We go for the stim, we dive on the army. Zealots, they're being mowed down. The pylon as well, there's a second pylon behind it. But there may just be too much man with gun, too many Marines. Again, good kiting from Dolan. The stasis trap! Oh my god. And he's kiting back towards it. Zealot's going to be going down, and now we can dive on the army. Oh no! We could try to dive on the army, but the stasis trap does finally pop off. And Ashbringer, he is surviving for now, but he did lose so much of his army. And here come the reinforcements. Reinforcements from both players. Looks like Ashbringer gets another couple of warp-ins. He's holding. He's surviving. Getting up to 8 Zealots. But now we have Widow Mines. And these Widow Mine shots, they could either make or break a fight here for Dolan. And we're pushing on forward. The mines, they are burrowing. Two of them initially. Overcharge does not quite connect. It does get focused down. Good mine shots on those Zealots. It looks like Dolan is going to be forced back. He has to respect those Void Rays. Let's activate their prismatic alignment. But Dolan, he is not slowing down. This is, okay, he's not 2 base all in. We have a third CC behind this. Going for the scan, he confirms that there is no expansion. He checks the goal base, checking a hidden base as well. Like, there's no pressure on Dolan. He's ahead economically once again. Something you don't see too often in this matchup. For the Terran player to be up a base against the Protoss is insane. It's something that should not be happening. And Ashbringer, he's up against the wall. Base is being taken. Ashbringer going to be rotating around. He's going the long way around the map, so he is not being scouted. There is a Marine. Oh, and Dolan, he does spot the Zealots. And the rest of the army. And base trade? Oh, there's nothing at home. We could have gone for the base trade, which would have made things a little bit chaotic, but instead we're rushing back home. Dolan, he's confident. He knows that, hey, he's up a base. All he has to do is survive. He's not in position. Needs a little bit more time. The mines, they're going to be burrowing. The mine shots. Big connections on the Zealots. Massive connections. And with that, what is there left here? The Void Rays do activate their prismatic alignment. They are forcing back the army. It is quite stimmed, quite overstimmed. The boys are being pulled. Once again, mine shot's going to be going off. We're getting on top of the Void Rays, and it looks like Dolan has too much. He shuts down the army. Only Void Rays do remain, and that's not enough. GG gets called, and Dolan does take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Dolan in the driver's seat for this entire series, essentially. Oh, and he does end up taking it here in the end. My condolences to Ashbringer. Again, he just had a really awkward time early on, like, especially here in this game where he had to have like a delayed expansion up against the 3 racks. He was forced to cancel his third and could never actually take his third either. Couldn't quite take it. Ashbringer kind of forced into a 2-base all-in, an all-in that he didn't quite want to commit to. And yeah, with that, congratulations, Dolan will advance on into the next round, and we can take a moment here to try to figure out where we want to go. Where we headed, Bobby? Where are we headed? Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. One moment here as I try to get this going. Okay, from the top. From the very top, we do have Gumiho waiting for the... Wait, hold on, I have to refresh. I think there's some updates. We do have Gumiho at the top of the... we have a lot of scrolling. It's Gumiho at the top of the bracket, waiting for the winner of Magic versus Teacup. So, from here, Gumiho is looking to make a deep run. Can anyone stop him? We have Zane versus Kaz in a TVP. Hoping to face off against Gumiho. Best of luck to all these players. Scrolling down a bit further, we have Mana taking down Sebestes? Mana does take down his opponent. He 2-0, advancing on to face off against Bly. Bly has returned for the Katowice qualifiers. Oh my god. Every now and then, Bly does rock up, and that is going to be that's going to be a pretty spicy ZVP. Not going to lie. Mana versus Bly, very old. What is this, like 2013? Very old school matchup. Love to see it. Scrolling down a bit further, we have Goblin taking down Wingit 2-1. Shout out to Wingit for taking a game off of Goblin. Waiting for the winner of Cristiano, Astra, and for Mandan. Quite some big names going to be facing off. We have Strange waiting for either Zhang or Coffee. Coffee will most likely be facing off against Strange in the next round. That's going to be a spicy TVP. We have Scarlet waiting for her opponent, looking to go up against Art. We just got an update. Art did 2-0 Mindle VK. My condolences to Mindle VK, but Art is, yeah, definitely a terrifying opponent and is going to be waiting for, I imagine, Scarlet in the round of 32. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Geralt up against Upper Tree. DRG, the Dong, has returned. Dong Regu did very well for himself in the Asia server qualifiers. We saw DRG go to the ace match against Bjorn and take down some big names. He was our favorite to make it through. Barely didn't. We saw an upset where Cyan took down DRG, but DRG is still going to be a pretty big name here in these qualifiers. Ooh, nice. Did get a walkover. Hold on, I'm just very quickly trying to... God, the bracket is so big. Oh. No, I didn't realize that I missed my series. There was... okay. From the top, sorry, I was a little bit engrossed in the bracket. I missed our game. Let's say we'll find another. It's okay. It's okay. We'll find another game. I'm sure. As Harsem, he's going to be going up against a couple of amateur players. I'm not too familiar with them. Imius and Aimlilock. So best of luck to them as Harsem is looking to make his way through. Arik Fire 2-0 Zaristri, waiting for the winner of Mishu and Kelazar. Oh my god. Just making sure I'm able to keep up here. So that is going to be another series. Eon, oh, Eon did get taken out here in the first round, but we have plenty of big names facing off against each other. Fiant 2-0's Mixu. Mixu. The two Zerg boys had to face off. Fiant does advance on to face off against either Bunny or Ghost Shark. We have DNS waiting for the winner of Solidin and Wayne. Ooh, Wayne versus DNS. That's going to be a really good ZVP. Not gonna lie, we have Nightmare looking to face off against Jessie in the next round. We have Dolan waiting for either Exo Strike or Creator, another Protoss player. Dolan, I would say that his PvT, I think that might be his best matchup. So Dolan, he has potential to have a deeper run here. Only Protoss. We have Nightmare, Jessie, Exo Striker, and Creator. Pure Protoss waiting for Dolan. Just messaging him. This is the series that I just missed. Extra Striker and Creator, they're mid-series, and they just got into either Game 1 or Game 2. So I just missed the lobby for Extra Striker and Creator, which would have been my lobby to take, but yeah, I didn't realize that, that those are the players that I was waiting for. So they are currently underway. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Trigger versus Forjumi in a PvP. A lot of PvPs. We have Young Yakov against Rostock. We have Uwu Thermal versus Special in a TVT. That is brutal, actually. Oh my god. I didn't even notice Special in the bracket earlier. Gung Fu Banda, Winkets, Shutdown. We have Fighting Frog. Silky, no, the walkover. Silky didn't quite make it. At the very bottom of the bracket, we have Classic. Another big name here. Classic did not make it through the Asia qualifiers. Classic is returned with a vengeance. Looking to make a deep run. So a really large bracket. Big names are here. If you see some of your favorite European players and they're not in this bracket, most likely they have already been seeded into the closed qualifiers. There have been a lot of invites based on performances over the year, where players like Rainer and I think Showtime and some of the others have been seeded. Lambo, Alazer, for example, Clem, they've been seeded into the next round, into the closed qualifiers. So yeah, we're here to determine who joins those big names in those closed qualifiers. Part of me feels like maybe I should wait for Extra Striker versus Creator to finish, but I don't know how long they're going to take. I believe I do have Kelazer versus Mishu, which is about to begin, which would be a really good series, to be honest. Kelazer here, Kelazer versus Mishu, would be really good, but Dolan's our boy. You know, Dolan's our boy, and it's probably worth waiting here for Creator versus Exo Striker, and yeah, I guess it makes sense here. We may have a little bit of downtime, but we're gonna be waiting for Creator and Exo Striker to open up. You're just letting everyone know. Catch him in the chat. Condolence. Aistan, is that you? Aistan. Aye. So, yeah, pretty big turnout here so far. Oh, hold on, I'll just... There we go. Just trying to make it a little bit more visible here. A little bit more legible on the screen. But yeah, for now, I guess we're going to be going on a short break. Yeah, I do see Kelazer and Mishu. They are just about to start their series, and it's tempting. It's very tempting to jump on the egg, but I feel like we should be following Dolan. We should be doing our best to follow Dolan. He's our boy. He's one of the CranKy Ducklings, so we'll be following him on his road here, on his road to the closed qualifiers, I want to believe. So we're going to be going on a short break. We're waiting for Creator and Extra Striker to get out of game. And then we'll be following their series up next. So that's kind of where we're going to be headed. I do apologize for missing the lobby. I saw it posted. I didn't realize that that I should have been looking out for Creator and Extra Striker at the time, because we were going over the bracket. So I should have double checked, and I should have scrolled down a little bit faster. So yeah, going to be going on a short break, and then when we return, we'll have our next series. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the extended break, but I promise you it was worth it. I did have some updates in the chat earlier, but we have our next series. It is going to be a TVP between Dolan and Creator. Creator did 2-0 Exo Striker and has advanced on in the bracket to face off against the Danger Dolan himself, against one of the CranKy Ducklings. Let's go. Let us go. You can hear the beeps. We're going to be loading into game number 1. Going to be taking place on Oceanborn. Of course, Creator is one of the many big Korean names in the bracket that did not make it through the Asia server qualifiers. Looking to make it through the European server qualifiers instead. And we'll see how this does turn out. We'll see if he can overcome the might of the Dolan. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Protoss player from the land of South Korea representing Club NV. It is Creator. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the American Terran, the blue Terran player representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Dolan. Here we go. Again, Dolan, of course, just took down his own Protoss opponent, and there's nothing but Protoss remaining for him. I was looking at the bracket, and most likely it was going to be Creator and Nightmare thereafter as well. So there's a lot of Protoss on the horizon here for Dolan, and his TVP is going to be put to the test. His SCV did go the long way around, and we do have an eBay block here on the low ground, so a nice move already here from Dolan. He does avoid the probe scout. Meanwhile, Creator a little bit more concerned with looking for proxies, less so with checking his natural, and Creator should be forced to take the unnatural natural location. eBay is more than almost done at this point. Probe is going to be a little bit annoying here, trying to disrupt it, and oh, do we pull out? Oh, we do pull out just in time. So plenty of progression on that eBay. The initial work has been pulled. We're going to be making a Zealot, and yeah, we have to at this point chrono out that Zealot. So Oceanborn is a very brutal map because it is a very short rush distance by ground. We have seen, especially in the early days of the patch and the early days of the new map pool, many Protoss players fall here and now to the follow-up factory. If you do get eBay block, it is so difficult to defend either one of these bases because of the short rush distance by ground and because of how exposed these bases are. Creator, instead of expanding, is going to be focusing down that eBay and going for a later expansion instead. He wants none of that factory shenanigans. He wants none of that cyclone shenanigans either. Meanwhile, Dolan's follow-up, I imagine, is going to be a 3 Rax. Only one gas has been taken, and there it is. There's the second Rax. We should be seeing a 3rd Rax after this. I bring this up just because Dolan did do this previously. He did whip this out against his previous opponent, Ashbringer. So, again, it's going for a very similar playstyle. Makes a lot of sense. It was on this map as well. Not quite. It was on Alkione, if I remember correctly. It was on Alkione. But here we go. The first Zealot and the first Adept, they're moving out across the map. Looking to try and punish Dolan for what he's done, for his greed so far. Good sidestepping here out of Dolan. But the Zealot is gaining ground. The bunker going to finish up just in time. But the goal here is for the Adept to try to bypass this bunker, try to get on top of this SCV, and delay the CC. Oh, he wants the worker. Doesn't quite commit. Behind this, we have our tech of choice. It is not going to be a Stargate. It is going to be a Twilight Council here from our Protoss player. Most likely a Blink-based opener. And looking at the vision, we do not get eyes on the follow-up. We don't see the second and third racks behind this, but Blink is going to be ideal against a 3 racks. You want to try to slow this down. You want to try and pick away at the Marine army. So Creator reading this well. Reading this very well as we're getting into additional gateways. Now the question becomes, how many gateways, how committed are we going to be to these Blink Stalkers? We have 1 gateway in the main. We have 1 gateway here at the natural. Robo's on the way. Could just be a 2-gate opener into a 3rd, very economic, or we could double down and go for a 3rd gate or even a 4th gateway, depending on how aggressive Creator wants to be. Depth is going to be threatening a shade. Going to be moving the hell out of there. Dolan, of course, just taking control of his bases, making sure he's safe and sound. Stim is on the way, combat shields as well. Again, this should be a stim timing from Dolan, but once he realizes that there are stalkers coming out, once he realizes the opener of his opponent, he may just back off. Typically, it would force a Marauder transition, but Dolan doesn't have a Reaper. Dolan isn't really aware of what's going on with the follow-up, and it is going to be a 2-gate opener. Very economic here out of Creator. A little bit greedy and potentially punishes. No! As Unep shades into the main base and we get eyes on everything. We see all 3 Raxes. Creator, he's aware. He's aware of what's going on. And is going to be preparing back at home. The Stalker count is amassing. We have 1 shield battery at the natural. We have a shield battery on the way. Oh, sorry. Yeah, just 2 shield batteries, sorry, at the natural. I was like, where's the second shield battery? 2 at the natural. Dolan is moving out. We'll see if we can maybe force a cancel on this 3rd base, but that's a lot of Stalkers. It's going to be a lot of Stalkers. Blink is a couple of seconds away from finishing. 5 seconds off. Push on forward. We get eyes on the Stalker army, and immediately Dolan backs off. He retreats. Using the tall grass to his advantage, though. Doesn't quite pick up any of those Stalkers. Does pull back. Of course, Observer was available, and yeah, from here, Dolan has to back off, has to retreat, has to transition. As I mentioned before, Dolan wasn't aware if it was going to be a Twilight Council or a Stargate, so he didn't really know what he was running into. And Stalkers are exactly what you want in this scenario. So a pretty good start here from Creator. Good start overall. He deflects the army, he gets his 3rd. He's trying to force out another stim. Dolan, though, being very patient. Does not use it. Not yet behind this. We're getting to our add-on swap. Working towards Medivacs, and Dolan is going to be working on that next step. Scans the natural base, gets eyes on the safety immortal. Charges on the way, a big gateway explosion. Creator. Not just going to be working with Blink Stalkers, but Chargeless as well. And even Dark Templar. Meanwhile, Dolan is not all in. He's going for a 3rd TC. He is looking to macro out of this. But again, observers all throughout the map, they do catch the army. Do forget, oh my god, we do go for the scan. Nice moves there from Dolan. He is aware of Medivacs, they have arrived. And now we can stim a little bit more freely. Oh, as I say that, Marines are getting picked off though. Oh, that's 6 Marines. The 0 Stalkers. Good blinks out of Creator, doesn't lose anything. Gonna try and dive on the army, but with the Immortal, with sentries, waiting for force fields, Dolan, he cannot commit. He was trying to bait out a force field, but Creator, again, very mature, very patient with his own sentry energy. He doesn't get baited. We have 2 shield batteries in position, and now we're moving out with the Prism. Now, Dolan, as he tops up his army, he could still try to dive on this. The army itself is looking quite small, especially with many of those Zealots getting across the map. Stalkers are actually split between the bases. We can blink to the low ground though. As we scan the 3rd, we see how vulnerable the position is. We go for the stim. First shield battery is going to be going down. We dive on the army as well. Overcharge is popped, but we can get on top of the Immortal. And here come those Stalkers. To dive from the high ground. Meanwhile, Zealots are warping into the main. The DT, do we have a scan? Oh, do we have a scan? I don't think we do notice. As we try to power through the shield battery, power through the overcharge probes, they are going down. SCVs as well across the map. And do we have a scan? We do. Dark Templar goes down, but in a base trade, Dark Templar, they're going to do so well here for Creator. As we have broken the 3rd base, but back across the map, every SCV is going down. Ay, ay, ay. Workers are falling. We go for the scan. We're going to be able to focus down the Robo at least. But Dolan, he's running out of steam. He's running out of workers, running out of an economy. And soon running out of scans. That's the problem here. We can send in one Dark Templar at a time. We're going for the Dark Shrine though. What you see is what you get. Only 3 Dark Templar. Gonna be depowering these gateways, getting into the main. Oh, base is gonna be lifted. Going for another scan. Does take down another Dark Templar. We have 2 DTs left. 1 across the map, 1 back at home. Dolan, he does have a pretty comparable army. We're recalling back home. That's a lot of zealots. That is a lot of zealots, and Dolan, can he fight this? Another, do we have a scan? Do we have a scan, Bobby? The Widowman's gonna try to borrow. 1 goes down. We have a second Dark Templar. Only 1 Widowmine left. Dolan down to 8 SCVs. Down to his last here. Mine shot's gonna be going off. Big connection. Dolan's trying to focus on as many of these workers as he can, but he's running out of steam. He's running out of juice. Another medevac falls. And back at home, there's barely anything left. The CC, it's burning. No, the SCVs, the final workers. Dolan gonna save that 3rd CC, but he's down to what? 6 SCVs remaining. Creator has an economy. Dolan doesn't. Do we have a scan? We do. We miss. Oh no, we missed the Dark Templar. Don't like this. And it looks like Creator has held. GG gets called. Creator will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Did go down to the wire a little bit there. Did go down to the base trade, but honestly, those Dark Templar were so annoying to deal with. It was definitely just, yeah, a massive boon that Dolan had to overcome, and yeah, really solid decision there from Creator. Really solid play to have the Dark Templar in that scenario, and yeah, GG. Even, to be fair, even without the Dark Templar, it's very possible that we would have seen the same outcome. The base trade was something that Dolan wasn't ready for, and again, even without the Dark Templar, the Zealots across the map, they were getting so much done. They were wreaking havoc, and Creator, he does take the first game. Does take a lead in the series, but we'll see how things will change as we get ready for game number 2. Here we go. Like, thanks for working hard to cast games for us. Thanks for staying up late and waking up early to do this. Much appreciated. Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you, Mito. Thank you. Thank you. It's what is sleep? What even is sleep? No sleep here. No sleep. To be fair, in between casts, because we covered the Hatchery Cup earlier, and this is our second broadcast of the day, I did nap for 2 hours. I did manage to get a couple of hours of sleep in between broadcasts, but here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Club NV. It is Creator. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Terran, representing the CranKy Ducklings, down in the series, but not out. Looking to tie it up. It is Dolan. He's up against the wall, and what are we going to be bringing to the table here on Hecate? Where are we going to be taking us? Where do we go? Again, Dolan known for his aggression, but so far tonight we've been seeing some pretty straight up play. Even against Ashbringer earlier, Dolan, he was expanding, he was taking a 3rd base. You can see Creator, he's checking for proxies, at least at the linear 3rd location. Creator just being safe here. But yeah, Dolan has been looking pretty normal, which is not something I'm used to seeing. Pretty straight up play overall. Aggressive as well, don't get me wrong, but not cheesy. As he does go for the full off here on top of the ramp, keeping his opponent in the dark. walling off that main base. And as we get into game number 2, a big shout out to Meme50. I'm assuming it's Meme. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for subscribing for the first time with a tier 1 sub. Gracias, papi, gracias. Hope you've been enjoying the stream. Hope you've been enjoying the broadcast here. Again, second broadcast of the day. If you're a fan of the CranKy Ducklings, you know, we're live every day, every single day with plenty of StarCraft. And we should be back tomorrow as well with the finale of the European server qualifiers. Today is the open qualifier for Europe, and tomorrow is the closed qualifier. Basically, the top 8 players from this server qualifier make it to tomorrow, and tomorrow they're going to be going up against the invited seeded players from the EPT circuit. So players like Rainer, Showtime, Clem, Alaser, Lambo, Skillis, to name a few. So the big names from Europe, they're waiting, biding their time, and they're going to be featured on this channel tomorrow. So look forward to it. But here we're determining who faces off against them in tomorrow's closed qualifier. For now, we are going for, once again, a Twilight Council opener. Twilight Council is thrown down here on the low ground. Dolan is in the dark. No, sorry, my apologies. Did scout. Did see the tech. Is aware. Going to be dipping in, though, getting confirmation. Does click on that Twilight Council. As he does dive into the main. Barely avoiding those adepts. Does get one probe. Does get one worker for his troubles. The creator should be able to zone out. Oh, the Reaper for the most part. As Dolan's gonna try to escape, try to slip out of the main base. A couple of hits are gonna be coming in. Oof. Yeah, we have an adept waiting on the low ground, and the Reaper will fall behind this. How many gateways? 2 for the time being. Back at home, Dolan is expanding. He is not going all in. He does have a factory as well, a very early factory, so this is going to be a big 2-base push. We saw this in game number 2. Game 2? Sorry, game 1. Game 1 of Dolan versus Ashbringer, where Dolan, he's getting to really fast tank production into a 2nd and 3rd racks. We are delaying the starport, and we're building up a massive, a hefty marine and tank army, and we're soon going to be pushing out. Dolan did this against Exo Striker on Oceanborn, if I remember correctly. Did whip it out on Oceanborn. And again, this can hit like a truck. Sorry, not Oceanborn, the other map. Alkion, that's it. No, yeah, Oceanborn, that's it. Sorry, I'm mixing up the maps. But yeah, regardless, this is going to be quite brutal when it does arrive across the map, and it's going to be on Creator to recognize what's going on. Once he does realize how committed this is, then we should be preparing with shield batteries, charge, or, again, just amassing a gateway army. We saw that Ashbringer, he was able to confirm this with a hallucination scout, but Creator is doing nothing of the sort. He's taking a 3rd base. Very economic opener. 3-gate opener in towards that 3rd. So with a 3-gate Blinkstalker build, you do have enough Stalkers to actually gain map control and to apply pressure across the map, but we can see that Creator, he's more concerned with defending against drop play, like Widowmine drops or Raven Harass. Now he's going to be moving out, but for the time being, he's still in the dark. This Observer has a lot of scouting to do, and it will. The Observer is going to dip on forward, get into the natural. We have 3 tanks, we have a 4th tank on the way. Creator, he does rotate around, slips into the main base, and he should get eyes on all the production. Sees the tank already. And he barely does catch a glimpse of the move out. The Observer barely escapes. Does float away, and the boys are being pulled. Again, Dolan, he knows that the Observer is out of position, does not see the boys being pulled, and we're going for a 2-base all in. It's all or nothing for Dolan. Stalkers are moving out. They do spot the SCVs. They catch a couple of reinforcements, so they force the army back. Again, there are no medevacs with this. There's every single stim counts. Oh, Dolan, he's being forced back. Will save his tank, though. Creator buying so much time back at home. What do we have to work with? Good target firing out of Dolan. Focusing down 1 Stalker, 1 Adept, and even getting a 2nd Stalker. Every unit counts right now. This army is most likely going to recall back home, but that is that much less to work with. And here we go. Dolan is pushing in. Zealots are being warped in. We do have charge. Immortals are on the way, but there's only a single shield battery, a single overcharge, and we're diving on top of the army. SCVs are being cleaned up. That overcharge putting in a lot of work. But we pull back to the tanks, and with 4 tanks, that is just so much firepower. And we're focusing down the Immortal. And it looks like Dolan has too much. He breaks through the army. There's nothing left here. There's 3 Stalkers being warped in. But we ignore the third base. We have to go for the kill. We have to go for the natural. The tank. Oh, 1 tank goes down. Big pickup. Creator going for another warp in. The boys are being pulled. We don't have too many Marines. We are down to 3 Marines left. 3 Marauders. Dolan, can he pull this off? More reinforcements though, more warp-ins. There are just too many Zealots. It looks like Creator, he may have lost his first army, but he has plenty to work with. He shuts down the tanks, and Creator, he's going to get on top of this army. He's going to completely shut this down. There was so much potential. Dolan, he almost pulled this off. He almost had enough. But we're down to a single tank. GG gets called, and Creator will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. Oh. GG, well played. Creator does take it in the end, and that was close, not gonna lie. I do feel like potentially when Dolan was attacking the third base, if Dolan had shut down the overcharge a little bit faster, it would have been a little bit easier to work through the rest of the army. I do think maybe he overextended a little bit with his Marines, and he did bleed out a bit much. But that was still so close. He was almost able to break Creator then and there. Regardless, GG, well played. Creator will advance on. Dolan is going to be eliminated from the qualifier. And we have some catching up to do. As we do refresh that bracket, !B in the chat to get a link to the bracket yourselves. And we're just going to be hopping over to the European server, and we're going to try to catch up on everything that has been going on. Trying to catch up with the bracket. Ooh, Qualifier is going to be starting up his series. Can I find him? Can I get it? No! Oh, God, I was too slow. Feels bad, man. No! Oh my god. All the games are starting. It looks like Qualifier versus Katowice just started, and that would have been a juicy series, but they have already commenced. Looks like Classic versus Fighting Frog also underway. And yeah, just a lot of matches are currently ongoing. It's a little bit daunting just because there's so much going on, and we're gonna try and figure out where we want to go. We'll do our best. We will do our best from the top. From the very top here, we have Gumiho taking down Zane 2-0. Gumiho is waiting for the winner of Mana versus Bly. Mana versus Bly still ongoing. Still mid-series, so that's going to be, again, pretty good portion of the bracket. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Christiana versus Astra. The winner goes up against Goblin. That's a lot of PvPs. Winner of that goes up against either Strange or Coffee. Strange and Coffee are mid-series. That is another really good matchup. Another really good Terran versus Protoss. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Scarlet Scarlet mid-series against Benas. Going to be going up against Art, going up against Geralt or DRG afterwards. Another really good series, actually. Geralt and DRG currently in a best of 3. Meanwhile, Harstem, he's waiting for the winner of Qualifier and Katowice. I just mentioned they just started their games. I did miss them, unfortunately, but they are mid-series. We also have Bunny versus Fiant in a TVZ. We've got DNS versus Wayne in a PVZ. Really good matches. Nightmare versus Jeshi. Of course, winner goes up against Creator in Protoss versus Protoss. And we have a Special who 2-0'd Ubu Thermal. And we have Special versus Young Yakov. Winner goes up against Trigger in the round of 16. The round of 16, those are the qualifying matches, by the way. Those are the best of 5s. So we're nearing the end of the broadcast. Only a couple of matches are left before we get into those qualifying matches. And a couple of players are coming out of game. I'm just trying to catch them. Just trying to find them. I guess we'll just go for anything that's available at this point. Like I don't think there's a bad option. I don't think there's like a bad series here. So yeah, we may as well jump on whatever we can. We're getting some updates. Wayne, he just saw DNS. He's waiting for the winner of Fiant and Bunny. And we just got an update. Bly has eliminated Mana. Mana has been eliminated from the qualifier. Bly advancing on instead. Which means Gumiho is about to start his series versus Bly. And you know what? That's where we're headed. Let's go. Oh, actually, is that what we want? We have a couple of series that are opening up. We have Gumiho versus Bly about to start. We also have Scarlet versus Art about to begin as well, which is another really good matchup and really good series. Ah, God. Ah, tempting. So tempting. Is Bly... I believe Bly is teamless, right? I remember he was on Prep Esports before. Okay, currently teamless. What does Scarlet... What do these series lead into? Scarlet versus Art about to begin into Geralt or GRG. Really good, actually. Gumiho versus Bly is a qualifying match. Oh, well, there you go. So I think it makes sense. Okay, I think it makes sense. We're going to be getting on to Gumiho versus Bly because it is a best of 5. It's going to be a qualifying match. And then after that, we'll try to maybe even catch the rest of Scarlet, Art, Geralt, and DRG in the lower qualifying match. Yeah, then we'll try to bounce back here because Scarlet's just now starting her series versus Art, so we may be able to catch them later on here. These 4 players. So that's where my attention is going to be held. That's our plan. Ooh, as we just got an update, Bunny just 2-0'd Fiant. Bunny is about to begin versus Wayne, and I believe that's another qualifying match. Yeah, that's another best of 5. God damn it, there's so many good games. Wayne versus Bunny looks like a lot of fun. But I think we're gonna commit to Gumiho versus Bly, especially because I think that's gonna be a really fast series. So we'll like get a quick best of 5 going. And then maybe we'll find another qualifying match. Here we go. Beautiful. Alright, so we know where we are headed. We have confirmation, and up next on the channel is going to be Gumiho versus Bly. Yo, and as we get ready for our next series, a big shout out to Mr. Sadsack. Señor Sadsack, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the IM Katowice 2024 European Open Qualifier. Again, we are still middle of the broadcast, and we are here with our first best of 5, our first qualifying match. Welcome. Bienvenidos. We go. Of course, there are some other English broadcasts going on as well. I believe Steadfast, Rotterdam, Wardy potentially, Zombie Grub. There are plenty of other casters out there covering some other matches. I did also see someone in the chat being like, "Yo, I've got like all these tabs open." Fair enough, fair enough. a lot of games are all happening all at once. So best of luck if you're out there trying to keep up with all of those series. Best of luck. I just got an update. Looks like Aragfire and Kelazur, they're getting into the ace match. They're tied up 1-1. That is currently ongoing. And yeah, that's where we're headed. It looks like ooh, Roddy and Steadfast are both looking at Bly as well, actually. Oh, so some of the casters may be jumping on as well. Some of the other casters may be jumping on. Actually, it looks like we have confirmation Rotterdam is going to be going for Bunny versus Wayne, which again is a really good series as well. So they are splitting up. But yeah, the vetoes are currently underway, so we may just go on a short break, actually. Short break. Yeah, just a short break, waiting for the players to kind of get things going, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes here. So take this moment to get some snacks, hydrate, stretch your roaches, massage your marines, and we're gonna be back in a couple of minutes with Gumiho versus Bly. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back if you're in the chat. Ooh, apologize for that extended break, but we have returned with our the first of many qualifying matches of the night. And again, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Predictions are open. Place your bets on how you think this series will go. Who you think will be the first to qualify for the closed qualifiers of the European server here for IEM Katowice. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Ukrainian Zerg player, the purple Zerg. Oh my god, the purple Zerg player representing his clan. It is Bly. And he's on fire. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran, representing Cloud9. It is Gumiho. Gumiho was one of the big names that was not able to qualify through the Asia server qualifiers. Now he's trying his luck here in Europe instead, and he is one series away from making it into the closed qualifiers. It's still going to be a rough road to victory in tomorrow's qualifiers, but again, Gumiho is one step closer. Meanwhile, Bly having an upset. I don't think many people really pinned Bly to take down Mana. Mana has been a little bit more consistent, a little bit more in form, but Bly was able to make some magic happen. We'll see if he can do it again. We'll see if he can bring down the Gumi God. For now, it's going to be a Hatch Gas Pool standard opener out of Bly. Bly, he is known for being hyper-aggressive and very unorthodox, but so is Gumiho. So is Gumiho, so this is going to be a crazy one. Gumiho is going to be coming in as the favored player 100%, but at the same time, things can get really chaotic and things can get really, just really out of the norm here. Very fast, very quickly. But now we're going for a Rax Expand into a Factory. This is an opener that Gumiho is very fond of. It is the special opener. Gumiho, I think he's the only one that he's the only player that I am aware of that very consistently also goes for the Factory on the low ground. With this kind of opener, you're able to wall off, you're able to keep your natural base safe and sound against any kind of early Ling aggression, and we're getting into our add-ons, getting into our follow-up. The downside here is that your production is exposed. If we do get into a Roach Rush, then the Rax and the Factory are very vulnerable to Biles, to Ravager shots, and to the aggression of your opponent. That's the downside. Outside of that, though, you're kind of having a safe opener or a safe natural. Meanwhile, the Reaper has arrived, going to be dancing with these Lings. Back and forth. Bly does pull back, though. Avoiding disaster, avoiding those Reapers in the end, keeping all his Lings alive. Likewise, Gumiho is checking for the third base. And interestingly enough, Bly, there we go. I was going to say that interestingly enough, Bly has yet to expand. He hasn't taken a third, and we see why. He has stayed in gas, and we are throwing down the Roach Warren. The Roach Rush is upon us, and I think this is a really wise choice. I mean, Bly, he sees the wall with this Overlord, and as we were mentioning, there is a vulnerability here. You know, the fact that the production is here on the low ground instead of safely in the main base, we can wreak havoc and we can try to break through. Behind this, Gumiho is going for a starport. Bear that in mind. We won't be able to add-on swap because the starport is a little bit further back. So, as a result, if we did want to get into Banshees, it's going to take a little bit longer to get into that tech lab. We're going to even try and go into BCs. Meanwhile, Gumiho, he's going to be cleaning up these Lings. Again, he does have a Reaper across the map. He does confirm there is still no expansion. He's going into the main, and he does get eyes on the very fast Lair. Lair has been spotted. Second gas guys are in production. This Reaper is going to get cleaned up. The Reaper goes down. Roaches have arrived. Oh, and they have revealed themselves. Roachworm wasn't spotted earlier, but now we have confirmation, and we're going for a medevac, not a tech lab. And we'll see if Gumiho can hold on to his natural, because here come the Roaches. Roaches, Ravagers, the goal here to take control of the Factory. We already have 2 of these Cyclones, though. And we're backing off. Bly, he's been scouted, and he is respecting Gumiho quite a bit here. He retreats, and he's droning. He's droning up his bases. Now, with this lair, we can go into fast Roach speed. Another Overlord is going to go down. We do get eyes on the third CC. He's aware that Gumiho's working on that next step. Bly moving out once again. As he moves out, here comes that double drop of Cyclones. Things are about to get rowdy. They're about to get rowdy here. Ooh, Bly, a little bit supply block. We have 4 more Overlords on the way. Again, Bly has to be very careful with these Ravagers. Has to make sure he keeps them safe and sound. We have 2 Cyclones behind the army. We have 2 Cyclones in front. going for the reactor. The Ravager's already taking a lot of hits. Would you take down the reactor, though? Sorry, the Ravager taking a lot of hits. We come in from behind. Up. And it looks like one of the Ravagers is barely going to survive. We take down the Cyclone. Big pickoff. But again, Gumiho is getting in for us. He's coming in for a surround, and he will shut down this army. It takes down the Ravagers. We'll take down the Roaches as well. Liberator has arrived, and Bly is being cleaned up. Now, bearing in mind that behind this Bly was droning, he did saturate himself on 2 bases. We do have a 3rd base in production. Creep is being spread. And Bly, he can sustain himself. He is getting back into Roach production, though. And he's going to have to be the defender. He did trade with the army, don't get me wrong. Looking at the unit source tab, we took down 2 of the Cyclones, took down a Hellion, the Reactor. But I'm sure we still wanted a little bit more damage. As at least Bly isn't all in. I mean, he looks all in. Don't get me wrong. He's only on 43 workers, but we're going straight for Infestation Pits. Swarm Hosts? Maybe. Infestation Pits on the way. Actually, now that I think about it, it would make the most sense to go into Infestors. Remember, the Infestor has been changed, and when you do make an Infestor nowadays, it has the enough energy for a fungal growth. It's a good way to support Roaches, a good way to shut down and lock down these Cyclones. So Infestors should be on the horizon. As Bly is going to be pushing Liberators in position. We do have a Stim behind this, so we're getting into a Bio army. Stim looking exposed, though. Yeah, we're going right for it. We're looking for the cancel. And Stim is going to be shut down. The Roaches, they just... Oh my god, they ignore the army. And we're just going straight for the natural, going straight for the SCV kills. A bold move here from Bly. This is going to be a very expensive trade. At the same time, Roaches, they have rocked up at the 3rd base. Workers are going down left and right. That is 19 dead SCVs. 21. The target firing, 24, 25. 25, 26 dead workers as we're camping production here at the 3rd base. And just like that, Bly does take a worker lead. Bearing in mind there are mules, so Gumiho has a comparable economy. And Gumiho still has all these Cyclones. That's a scary thing. Bly threw away a lot of Roaches here, and Gumiho still has a standing army. In saying that, Bly, he's rebuilding his Roach count. He hasn't been saturating his 3rd base. He's now making a wave of workers. There are those Infestors we were talking about. Tunneling clauses on the way. Burrow is done. Bly not stopping here with the Roach aggression. Without Stim, this army is significantly weaker. Stim is still not done. Combat shields instead. We do confirm saturation at the 3rd. Roaches have been revealed. But we do go for the full wall off. Here we go. Tunneling Claw Roaches are coming in. Do we see the army, though? Oh, he does! He spots the Roaches. We have to unburrow. We do get on top of the Cyclones. A lot of Cyclones are going down. Fighting under the Freedom Zone, though. And the Roaches are being cleaned up. Good juggling here from Gumiho. Trying to force out another scan. But additional Roaches have arrived. The first group is going to be cleaned up. Again, the Cyclones going ham. And we will force back some of these reinforcements. Another scan is available. Oh my god, a brutal scan. So many Roaches go down. An expensive trade here for Bly. Not quite worth it this time. As Gumiho, he's recovering economically. He's got a 4th CC on the way. The Roaches are getting caught out. Meanwhile, Bly back at home working towards another hatchery. We do have those Infestors. We're getting ready for that counterattack. We forgot Stim. Straight up. After that tech lab went down, Stim has not been researched. Oh my god. We have 2-2 on the way before Stim. That is something you don't see every day. Oh my god. Not like this. Gumiho. I think right now he's trying to Stim. We do get the fungal. The chain fungal as well. 1 full medevac goes down. Stim does begin. And it is so heavily delayed here. Without Stim, what could his Marine army really do? It is just such a pivotal part of Terran. I was going to say of the matchup, but no, of Terran in general. Aye. So some good fungal growths. Medevac has been spotted. Bly getting his 4th base up and running, getting fully saturated on 3 bases. Hive is on the way. We will gain access to Vipers, Lurkers as well. Howling Claw Roach is waddling on in, but there is detection. Trying to pick off a couple of units. Plenty of turrets in position. Gumiho is being contained. And again, because of all the chaos, because of all the aggression, you know, even Gumiho makes some slip-ups here, forgetting a stim. From here, Bly is going to be droning. I'm still curious what the hive is going to be, what we're going to make use of with this hive. We do have +1 melee on the way, bathing speed as well. We could go into ultras. It looks like we want to try to go for a Ling Bane transition. So for now, Ling Bane, Ravager, Infestor. Especially alongside these Infestors, ultras would make sense. But we'll see. We'll see as Gumiho's getting ready for his move out. Oh, he's in position. Big tank shots. Oh, we're committing, actually. The Bailings, they roll it in. Decent connections on the Marines. We clean up all the tanks. Most of the tanks. But we have a wave of reinforcements. Gumiho has to be careful not to overextend. Gonna try to burrow away. We're going for the scan. And we're chasing this down. No fungals here on the high ground. And Gumiho is looking to snowball out of control. Without Ling Bane, we can't fight this. We do have a couple of fungals available. Roaches are amassing Ravagers as well. Gumiho, he takes out the 4th. At the same time, we try to go for some borrowed Roach harass, but we get cleaned up. And it looks like Gumiho is snowballing out of control. Here come the Marine reinforcements. Tanks are sieging. How good are the fungals? And even with perfect fungals, I don't know if we can fight this. Again, we needed some of that Ling Bane. We can see Bly trying to get ready for a surround or a counterattack. Trying to force his opponent to turn around. We do scan the army. Roaches going for the backstab. Bailings are on the way. There's that Ultra Cavern we were talking about, but I don't think we have the economy for it. We can't really sustain Ultra production. Roaches, they have arrived. Again, we're trying to force Gumiho to turn around, but we have reinforcements back at home. We have an army. Gumiho just edging on closer. Tanks slowly leapfrogging forward. Getting within range. The Queen's going down. We're getting into the mineral line. And here we go. We have to pull the trigger. No! Big tank shots. We go for the fungal. And it looks like we will be able to break out. But drones are falling. Every single worker here at the 4th base. Ay, ay, ay. So much economic damage. 22 drones have gone down. And Bly doesn't have an economy. Not anymore. Gonna force back this drop. Across the map, he's trying to deal some counter damage here with these Howling Claw Roaches, but he's just bleeding out so much. And here we go, the last ditch effort from Bly. He's got 3 ultras on the way. That's pretty impressive. We have enough of an economy to make 3 ultras, kind of splating in production as well. You can see Bly trying to pull apart his opponent, trying to find a way in. But Gumiho, he's in position. He has an insane economy. Roach is going to be going down. Oh, big scan. We catch the Roaches on the right-hand side as well. Bly is going to be able to take a trade. Going to be able to clean up some of those Marines, but oh god, we can't push in. We can't keep going. Scan reveals the ultras. Gumiho, gotta calm down. Gotta back off. Yeah, another scan that cleans up a big chunk of those roaches. Bly continuing to try to just get away into the natural. But Gumiho, he's just a brick wall here. Not allowing Bly to find a way in. Here we go, we stim on forward, we focus down the hatchery, even Biles are going to be connecting. Oh my god, some big Biles. That was a brutal trade for Gumiho, but he kills a base, and he knows that that's worth it in the end. Bly, he has been able to drone up to 70 though. But we can't push into tank range. We can't push into this army. Bly, he needs time. He needs time to recover. And again, I'm impressed that he's been able to drone up as heavily as he did. But he is so heavily oversaturated. He needs a base. He does need one of these bases to get up and running, and then time to saturate it as well, but Gumiho's maxed. Gumiho is maxed out. He's pushing across the map, going straight for that hatchery, straight for that base. Liberator coming in from behind. Oh, the Overlords, they get caught out. Liberator's just straight up attacking Overlords at this point, not even sieging. We have seen all these Ultras with Infestors, so Gumiho is respecting the army quite a lot, and I don't blame him. One good fungal growth, and Bly, even though he's down in supply, he can take a fight. The Overlords, no! Oh my god. Overlords are being hunted down. Quite a lot of damage is being done, actually. Jesus. That's like, what, 5-6 Overlord kills between them. Here we go. Gumiho rotating around. We'll be pushing towards the right-hand side. Very slow, methodical play here out of Gumiho. Making sure that he just secures his win here. How good are the Fungals going to be? Not too bad. Pretty good Fungals, but oh, like the Ultras, they melt. They just melt before the line of tanks, and it looks like this base has been broken, and no more Ultras remain, no more Fungal growths are available. Only a couple of Ravagers. Only a couple of Ravagers do remain. It was a good effort here by Bly. Didn't have a bad start, actually. But last things quickly snowballed out of control. Good Biles. Take down one of those tanks. But again, we can just keep singing on forward. Oh, we have the token Swarm Host. Do you love to see it? Swarm Host is on the way. Here we go. We're slowly pushing forward here with these tanks. You're not a Zerg player if you don't make this the token Swarm Host every now and then. It's fine. We do have a big counterattack with these roaches. Gonna try and pull back the army, but GG gets called. The writing was on the wall, and Gumiho will take game number 1. Whew. Taking a lead in this series. GG. GG, well played. Again, it was a very chaotic start, a very chaotic game overall between our two players, and that's kind of what we expect to be seeing here between both Gumiho and Bly. And yeah, we'll see if that continues here as we ease our way into this series. Again, it's still a best of 5, so we have plenty of games ahead of us. Plenty more StarCraft to be had. I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. As we have our second map, it is going to be Equilibrium. Just making sure we get all the casters involved. Again, we're not on our own. I believe Bratok is going to be covering this series as well as Naruto, who I believe is the German caster for Take TV. So plenty of coverage, plenty going on as we load into game 2. I'm trying to catch up on some reinforcements. Oh my, the upsets! I don't want to take too much away from this series, but Jeshi, yo, I mean, look, if you were here for the Asia qualifiers yesterday, then you would have heard us praise a lot of the Chinese Protoss players for how well they've been able to perform. Players like Cyan, Firefly, Jeshi, the trifecta, the triad of Protoss over in the Chinese region. They've been doing so well for themselves, and Jeshi 2-0 Nightmare. That is crazy. That is insane. That is very impressive and a big upset. Now Jeshi is mid-series against Creator in a best of 5. Meanwhile, we have our own best of 5, our own qualifying match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Equilibrium, we have the Ukrainian Zerg player, the purple Zerg, representing himself and his clan, Tuzania. It is Bly. and spawning in the top right-hand corner. We have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Cloud9. It is Gumiho. And we're going to be popping off. Once again, Gumiho is going for the low ground of racks into factory. Are we going CC first? It looks like we are. Let's go. Waiting for some extra minerals, so we have a very economic opener. CC first here from Gumiho, as greedy as you can get here in TVZ. Meanwhile, Bly is going for the gold. So we're meeting greed with greed. The drone has arrived and it meets up with the wall in the low ground. Is going to go toe-to-toe with his SCV, but the SCV hit first. No! Bly, get out of here. The drone has arrived. We get confirmation that it is a CC first, so fighting that SCV wasn't actually the most important thing. Bly was hoping to delay the racks. The racks is thrown down in the main base, actually. Okay, interesting. Racks in the main, not at the natural. Bly trying to get a read of what's going on. Drone does dip in, and he will get confirmation of that racks finishing up in the main base. Here we go. As behind this, we have Bly getting into his own spawning pool as well. Getting into his gas production, prioritizing the risk-resting gas, actually. Interesting. I mean, it was a gasless opener. It was a hatch pool gas here from Bly. Just prioritizing this or these mineral patches. Meanwhile, thank you so much, Kibrit, in the chat for gifting us up to Dolan. Thank you, quack, Bobby, quack. Do appreciate it. As we're getting into the factory on the high ground, never mind. I assume that we would be throwing down the wall in the low ground like we did previously, but alas, that is not the case. Bunker on the high ground as well. Gumiho going for the SCV scout, confirming the risk-resting gas geyser, or the goal base. Roach Warren's on the way, and Bly looking to be hyper-aggressive here in game number 2. I just love that Bly, he's aware of the aggressive potential of his opponent. He's just preemptively getting ready here in the main. The bunker was cancelled, but regardless of production, this time is going to be safe. Wings are moving out. Bly cutting workers here at 27, not getting full saturation of the main base, making sure he doesn't get supply blocked, and roaches are on the way. Yeah, that's 3 overlords in production to make sure that, I mean, it takes a lot of supply to get into roaches. Making sure we're there. Meanwhile, behind this, it's going to be a 1-1-1 opener here from Gumiho. Looking for the add-on swap. I imagine for Cyclones, we'll see if we get into Hellions. Gumiho, he has yet to see the tech, not fully aware of what's going on. And we're getting into Hellion production. And we'll see if Bly can pull this off, as the roaches have been revealed. Lair is on the way, Bly taking another base. Getting supply blocked actually after losing that overlord across the map. Oh, this is a pretty brutal supply block actually. Gonna take quite some time to break free. Bunker is on the way on the low ground. And Bly is sending everything across the map. Lings, roaches, ravagers. His goal here to take control of the natural base. And this time, no Cyclones to defend. That is what kind of held Bly off in the previous game. Boys, they have to be pulled. We're going for the Cyclones. Sorry, we're going for the Hellions. 2 of them will be focused down. And it looks like with these roaches, with these ravagers as well, we should be able to break through, but the Cyclones arrive just in time. Oof. Taking some blasts to the face. Unfortunately, 1 Cyclone falls. The Wiles. Oh my god. As it looks like Gumiho, he's barely going to be able to hold on. Shuts down the Ravagers. The bunker stands strong. Gumiho did lose 7 SCVs, but he has an economic lead. He has mules, he has a higher worker count, and the Banshee arrives to just shut this down. Things were looking a little bit scary there, and Bly isn't done, by the way. He is going for a big link counterattack. The wall is open. We can get a surround on the Cyclone. Oh. Up. Oh, barely. They do try to wall off. The Lings, they get in. They get the Hellion. They get the Cyclone as well. And now we can go straight for the mineral line, but there's only a handful of SCVs, sorry, a handful of Marines left. Lings left even. As Lings, they continue to flood across the map. And pick off some of the Marines. Not too bad. They go for the Cyclone as well. The repairs are in time. And the game is going to settle from here. Bly has been droning. He's saturating his natural base. His gold's slowly running out of mineral patches. We have to transfer over. 4th base on the way. And Gumiho didn't move out with his Banshees. He's banking up the Banshees back at home. And we have factories on the way. We're getting into mech. Not going to be bio. Not this time. Getting to a more mech-heavy composition. With Hellions and Cyclones. Banshees are moving out. They do come across the Roaches. So these Roaches are going to get picked off. As the Roaches are being chased down. The Banshees with full map control at this point. At least the Ravagers do survive, but I can't say the same for these Roaches. Once again, Burrow and Tunneling Claws are on the way here for Bly. I'm an NA noob that likes to support the scene as best I can. Oh, thank you, thank you. Gracias, papi, gracias. Do appreciate it. As Gumi is going to be taking his 3rd base. Again, getting into double armoring production, getting into mech. We have, of course, Hurricane Thrusters in production as well. That is Cyclone Speed. So we're going for a kind of a battle mech heavy composition, or a Cyclone heavy composition here from Gumiho. And against Roaches, I do kind of like this here. I mean, not just the Roaches, not just the Cyclones, but we're not stopping Banshee production. We have 4 Banshees. We have a 5th Banshee on the way as well. Oh my god. We don't have Hyperflight Rotors, which is a little bit surprising. We only have Cloak. But if we're going to invest this heavily, we're probably going to invest into Cloak. Sorry, we're probably going to invest into Banshee Speed at some point. It's going to happen. Turrets are on the way. After game 1, I'm sure Gumiho is aware of the potential for Tunneling Claw Roaches. So he's getting ready for that. Making sure he has detection wherever he needs it. And the Banshees are moving out. And again, that's a lot of Banshees. That's a lot of Banshees, papi. We're getting across the map. We do have Spore Crawlers in position, thankfully. 1 spore in each base. Queens are here as well. The Banshees, they head towards that gold. There are 2 Queens in position. Drones are being focused down. Oh, it's going to be 3 dead workers at the same time. Bly trying to go for his own run by, but he gets caught out. There is plenty of detection available, and the Roaches, they just get annihilated. Ay, ay, ay. So many of them go down for free. We're chasing out whatever is left. Meanwhile, across the map, the Banshees are going ham. They can actually wreak havoc here on the hatchery. Spores not within range. The Queens, they do rotate over. 4 workers went down, and here come the Cyclones. Gumiho up in supply. You can see that we have a Spire and a Hydrogen on the way. That's a lot of tech. Infestors as well. Bly is getting a bit of everything. But I don't think any of it can help him survive against this push. The Banshees pulling him apart. 12 dead workers, and here woke up the Cyclones. And what is the answer to this? We have 9 Roaches, and they're coming back home. A nice burrow here in the mineral line, but the drones, they're getting roasted. The Banshees arrive, focusing on the Ravagers as well. Really good target firing out of Gumiho. Bungles will connect, but it's not going to be enough. The Cyclones are going down. The Banshees as well, but that's 30 dead workers, 30 dead drones. The economy in shambles. We're even going straight for the hatchery as well. And Bly, he has almost nothing left at this point. He's going across the map with what little he has left. He is down to 9 Roaches, 1 Infestor. This is his army. This is it. It's all he can do. And back at home, we're just amassing more Cyclones. More Cyclones are coming out. The hatchery did go down. Meanwhile, Bly did invest into Mutas. Oh, these Roaches are getting picked off. Mutas can help harass, but honestly, Mutas melt against Cyclones. The new Cyclones are ideal against them. Oof. As the last remaining Roaches go down, Mutas headed across the map, going to try to force the army to turn back around, but we have turrets. We have turrets in position. And Gumiho is going for the kill move. Going straight for the natural. Banshees are in position. Gumio is snowballing out of control. Boys, they have to be pulled. And pulling drones against Cyclones is not something you want to see. It's brutal. Oh, God. As the last remaining drones are going to fall as well. Even some Hellions rock up. And Gumiho is looking to extend his lead in this series. GG gets called. Gumiho will take game number 2. 1 game away from qualifying for the IM Katowice European server closed qualifier. 1 more game is all Gumiho needs. Meanwhile, when it came to that game, it wasn't a bad start. It wasn't a bad start for Bly to invest as heavily as he did to get away with that goal base, to get away with the Rich Vesting Gas Geyser as well. I wasn't opposed to it, but the push it did look a little bit lacking there. He wasn't able to take control of the natural. He wasn't able to break in. Again, Gumiho's Cyclones arrived just in time to defend. It was pretty close, actually. If they were any later, then I do think that Bly would have killed some workers. But again, the Cyclones, they did arrive. Again, props to Gumiho for having the wherewithal to actually keep his production safe this time in his main base. Didn't go for the low ground. And with that, Gumiho needs one more win here to make it into tomorrow's qualifier. Meanwhile, I can tell you that the sun has risen. That the sun is up. It's 7 a.m. here in Australia. 7 a.m. and the sun is up. It's time for bed soon. It's time. Oh, God. After the cast, I'm probably going to get some breakfast and just pass the hell out. No. Yeah, it hasn't been a long broadcast, but it just started really late. At least for me here in Australia. It was a late start. But it's okay. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it, Pappy. We're making it through. We're getting there. And spawning. Oh my God. Where are we going? Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Ukrainian Zerg player down in the series. He has to fight back here and now to have a chance at qualifying for the closed qualifiers. It is Bly. Here comes that drone. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player representing his new team Cloud9, 1 game away from qualifying. It is Gumiho. And this is interesting. We are going for a proxy hatch at the 3rd base location. Just outside of vision, Gumiho is going for the low ground racks this time. The production is going to be exposed here on the low ground as opposed to the previous game. And Bly is going for the hatch into spawning pool behind this. Let's go. I'm ready for it. Bly just turning it up to 11 here in game 3. And can he try to punish Gumiho? Can he overwhelm him here in the early game, taking 2 gases? I imagine this is going to be a Roach Rush once again from Bly. I mean, he's been going for Roach heavy compositions throughout this entire series, but this is going to be a little bit different. Just a little bit. As he's droning up as best he can. Gases are being prioritized. SCV Scout moving out here for Gumiho. He will soon recognize what is going on. No Reaper, so very limited scouting information. Going for the Marine first. Setting up a wall here on the high ground. Going racks into expansion. It's going to be a factory follow-up. And there's that Roach Warren. He's checking! No shot, he checks! He does get eyes on the hatchery. Gumiho, he is aware. Oh my God. Bunker is already on the way. This is brutal. The bunker has been spotted by the Overlord. Marines have arrived. Gumiho, again, he's a very old school player. Not the first time he's played against Bly, and again, having the star sense to check is crazy. Gumiho. So again, with the bunker on the way, it should be okay. We do have a tech lab behind this again to Marauder production. There we go. Marauders are on the way. Marauders, they completely annihilate roaches. And we should have a handful of them by the time the army arrives. Boys are running over towards the low ground. They will be available. So the reason why we have to bring SCVs down is so we can pull them to repair. Speaking of, there we go. The boys are being pulled. And we will get the repair going. Oh, as I say that, the roaches zone them away. Do zone them away for a moment. But the bunker is going to be topped up. Even diving on top of the roaches themselves, we pull the boys. The Ravagers are not going to finish. One of them will, but not the other. Oh, oof. So just will complete. 5 SCVs went down. Was that worth it actually here for Gumiho? Did bleed out a lot of units. And we don't have a second Marauder. Bly, he's breaking through. He busts down the bunker. GG gets called. Gumiho overextended. Lost too much. Didn't have the economy. And Bly does fight back. Let's go. Oh my god. Again, pulling those SCVs was a little bit ambitious, and again, because we just didn't have much mining going on, Gumiho actually couldn't afford a second Marauder, wasn't able to get it out, had very limited DPS available, had 1 unit to defend, and yeah, we have Bly fighting back. Let's go. I'm ready for it. We're catching up in the chat. Badge, oh badge, soon, Bobby, soon. 7 AM in Perth, are you in civilization? Sydney, Bobby, Sydney. I like Sydney, but I support Melbourne FC. Oh, I understand. Look, like, I hated Sydney when I was there. Everything is one-way streets. True. I think there are a couple of one-way streets there in Sydney. Yeah, fair. I know. Whenever I go to Sydney, it's usually via train. I don't traverse those streets by a car. I was there only once, 15 years ago. Long time. But here we go. We're getting into game number 4. We are getting into this series, and is this the beginning of a comeback? I would hope so. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyon, and we have our purple Zerg player fighting back in this series, looking to tie it up, looking to force that ace match. It is Bly. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Cloud9. Ooh, having to work here for this qualifying match. It is Gumiho. What would happen if we put Bly, Eric, and Mio in one practice room? Let's go. As we're going for a ninja base. Okay, it is hatch first. This time it is not an aggressive hatchery here from Bly. He's going for a hidden base towards the top left hand corner of the map. I imagine to take control of the Rich Vesting Geyser. With this fast Rich Vesting Geyser, we can go into a Roach Rush. So once again, it should be Roaches on the way. It's going to be a hatch gas pool from Bly. Instead of going for the gold base, again, the purple gas base instead. I'm feeling the Roaches, mate. I'm feeling it. Okay, so this is very unique. I've been waiting for this. The entire patch, the entire season of StarCraft. I remember from the very beginning, I was talking about how like proxy hatches or like rushing into these gold bases, we've seen it plenty of times. You know, we've seen it quite a lot in ZVZ and ZVP and even ZVT. It does happen, it does occur. I was waiting. Would we see a player rush into these rich gas bases instead? And Bly is doing it. He's answered my prayers have been answered. the man of my dreams. Let's go. Is this gonna work though? That's the question. This is a wild one. Queen is on the way, drone as well. Again, we should be focusing on that gas. Meanwhile, behind this, we are just easing into ourselves. Gumiho going for a Rax Expand into the factory. Standard opener out of Gumiho. He has yet to go for an SCV scout, and he's keeping the Reaper back at home. So Gumiho, he's a little bit paranoid. He's a little bit concerned about an early rush. As we can see, though, there's nothing to be concerned about yet. There are things that are concerning, don't get me wrong, and we are made adding drones over. Because this Reaper has been kept at home, it means that we don't get eyes on the missing hatchery. We don't actually catch these drones either. Gumiho isn't able to punish this. The Reaper now moving out. The gases have been taken. And we are going into, not roaches, my apologies. We are going into a fast lair. 2-base muta? 2-base muta would make the most sense, I guess. Sure. Okay. That's kind of where my brain is going for here, because there is no Roach Warren. Link speed is finishing up. No, sure, he's checking? Okay. He does back off. He does see that the base is missing, and he should be checking the golds. He should be checking these gold bases first. He does check the gold base closest to Bly. Should be checking here on the right-hand side. Yeah, that's exactly where Gumiho's headed. Again, it's very obvious to check the gold bases first, and the bases are empty. The gold bases are completely empty. Gumiho, what is going through his mind? Will he think to check top left? Yeah, he's going for it. He is now checking these fringe bases, and he comes across the creep. He has found the base. Hellions dive forward. There it is. Spire is on the way. But can we protect this base is the question. That's the better question here. We have a couple of queens. We have some lings. They are in position. They take down 2 Hellions. They take down a third. There's only 1 Hellion remaining. And here we go. We're coming back in, but we should be able to pick this off. The Hellions get shut down. At the same time, Reaper slips into the main. We get a full scout. We get eyes on the lair as well as the Spire. Oh, the Bly has been scouted. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to deny it. Another base is on the way. And yeah, Gumiho is going to be able to respond. We have some Cyclones in production. Second factory, we have Mech on the horizon from Gumiho. Initially going for Banshees to harass, to be safe against Roaches. But now he's preparing himself for those mutas. The Banshee has arrived. It looks like the Queens are in position. The Spore finishes up just in time. The Banshee will be shut down. Big pick off. The Banshee gets 0 damage done. And here come the mutas. Mutas are on the way. And Bly is droning. He should be droning up behind this. So, because the mutas got scouted, because the Spire was seen earlier, these mutas shouldn't end the game. But I imagine Bly intends to contain his opponent. To contain Gumiho to 2 bases and drone up behind it. But we'll see. As the mutas have arrived. And trying to collapse on that Banshee. They do force out the cloak. And for now, Bly, he's staying on a low worker count. I assumed that he would be saturating this third, but for now, he is focusing on muta production. Heading into the main base. Oh, Bly is supply blocked. But turrets are up. And we go straight for the turret. We get a mass repair. The turret will not go down. That's 1 muta falling. That's a second muta as well. Big pickoffs. Expensive trade here for Bly. Meanwhile, here comes the rest of the army. Going straight for that hidden base. And Bly, he's doubling down on Ling Bane. He refuses to drone. Oh, and I don't think he can hold on to this. The mutas are trying to catch some reinforcements, and they do get a couple of units. But there are still so many Cyclones. As Gumiho rotates on over. Mutas, they try to engage. Auto turret is thrown down. And yeah, these mutas, they just cannot push in. But these lings are going to help. Okay, we have a massive wave of lings here. Bly, he goes for the surround. He dives on top of these Cyclones. They're going to be focused down. And it looks like Bly, he should clean this up. He cleans up the Cyclones and he'll clean up everything else as well. The tanks, the Marines. We're going to save this base. We are saving this hatchery. Gumiho going to try to focus on as many drones as he can. He gets 1 or 8 in total. Bly is going to try to snowball out of control. He wants to try to dive on this army. Banelings are in production. Again, Bly on a very low worker count. He's pretty all in. He's pretty all in with this. He's going for the bus. He is droning up as well, so we're getting some mixed signals. The Bane bust is upon us. We're rolling in. But there are Cyclones in position, and the Banelings, they barely don't make it into the mineral line. One Baneling does, but one Baneling is not good enough. As additional Banelings are on the way. Gumiho, a little bit late to react. But the Banelings once again do not connect. That would have been huge. One Baneling was all we needed. As Mutas get into the main base, we get the mass repair. Hey, Gumiho, he's holding. He is holding. And now he is far ahead here in the economy. Bly trying desperately to re-drone to resaturate his bases. He does have a decent Muta count, but not much else other than that. God, this Banshee refuses to die. Ay, ay, ay. Been around for so long. Blue Flame is on the way again. We're committing into mech. Hurricane Thrusters has completed. Oh, and with the death of those queens earlier, this Banshee is going to take control of this ninja base. Mutas are on the way, but still no detection. How many mutas are we on? We're up to 11 mutas. And these Cyclones should clean this up. Forcing the mutas to engage. And this hatchery is going to fall. At the same time, we do have a Drop Lord making its way into the main base. Hatchery is going to get targeted down. And these Lings, they got a lot of work to do. Lings initially are deflected. But we do get the drop into the main. So far, not spotted. Not yet. It looks like Bly, he's waiting for the move out. He's waiting for Gumiho to get out of position. They've been spotted in the center of the map, and now we can go. Now we can. We can send it back. Oh, going for. He's so greedy, going for a Bane bust or a Baneling run by into the mineral line. Ay, ay, ay. The greed here from Bly. And here we go. The Banelings, they do roll in. Do we have a reaction from Gumiho? We do not. Ooh, and we do crash into that mineral line. 9 SCVs going down. 11 in total. Not too bad. Not a bad run by, but we needed more is the problem. Gumiho is still up 20 workers. Overlord goes down. Bly trying to double expand. He's retaking top left. Bold move. Bold move out of Bly. As the Mutas, they do harass that natural. They get a couple more SCVs without losing anything. The problem is that because Gumiho has had the better economy, he's just amassing a massive Cyclone army. How many Cyclones do we have? We have 29. We have more Cyclones than there are Mutas. We do get across the map. Hatchery is going to be going down. Oh, that's going to be a kill, not a cancel. And again, these Cyclones are so mobile. I don't know how we can engage with this. Here we go, the Banelings are rolling in. So far, good kiting here out of Gumiho. He avoids those Banelings for the most part. Okay, they get targeted down, and now he can snowball out of control. There's nothing left to support the Mutas. Only a queen and only drones. And it looks like Gumiho is going to be qualifying here for the IM Katowice European Closed Qualifier. Or the Europe Server Closed Qualifier. As we get into the natural, GG gets called, and Gumiho will take the series 3-1, making it to the Closed Qualifier tomorrow. GG. GG, well played. Bly did make him work for it, and I'm happy to see Bly have, again, such a unique outlook on this matchup and on this game, and to go for the hidden base towards the top left. There was a lot of potential. I wasn't too fond of the choice of going 2-base Muta. I understand we want to take advantage of those gases, but yeah, the Muta play left much to be desired. It got scattered early on, and it did get shut down. And with that, Gumiho was able to snowball out of control. And GG, congratulations. Congratulations to Gumiho for making it into the European Server Closed Qualifier tomorrow. GG. We'll be casting more of Gumiho later on. As we're now going to be scrolling on down and we're looking for another series. We're looking for another qualifying match. Where are we headed? That is the question. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Ooh, we do have another qualified player. This just in. Young Yakov. I would say an upset. I mean, Young Yakov, he's been popping off recently, but he just 3-0'd his opponent here. Young Yakov just 3-0 Trigger. And he does qualify for the closed qualifiers. My condolences, Trigger. Trigger, he's an amazing player. But Young Yakov has been popping off. Look at this. He 2-0'd Special and he 3-0'd Trigger as well. Very impressive stuff here. Young Yakov, not young anymore. Not so young anymore. So it's a big win there from our Zerg player. Meanwhile, we have Gung Fu Banda versus Classic in a PvP. We have, scrolling up a little bit further, we have Jeshi versus Creator in another PvP as well. Again, Jeshi, he 2-0'd Nightmare up against Creator. Anything can happen. Best of luck to Jeshi. Best of luck to our Chinese Protoss player. Meanwhile, Buddy versus Wayne still ongoing. I do have my eyes on them. And they are currently mid-series in that ZVT. Kelazur versus Harstem. Oh my god, in a TVP. Really spicy matchup currently underway. And at the top of the bracket, we have Scarlet versus Geralt in a ZVP. We have Goblin versus Strange in a PvP. And, of course, our series has just wrapped up. Gumiho versus Black. Let's go! We got it. It's bittersweet. My heart goes out to Creator. We have another qualified player. And Jeshi is going to be making it to the closed qualifier. He takes down Creator 3-1. Again, Cyan and Firefly both made it into IEM Katowice. Jeshi is still the last of the Chinese Protoss players to make it through. He's on his road though. He's on his way. He does take down Creator 3-1. We're nearing the end of the broadcast. We're running out of matches. We are running out of games. And what do we go for next? My eye at the moment is on one, Bunny versus Wayne, to try to jump in mid-series, or Harstem versus Kelazur and Scarlet versus Geralt. That's kind of what I'm keeping my eye on. What I'm looking for. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Whichever lobby becomes available first is most likely what we're going to be jumping on. We've been casting a lot of Geralt recently, and I'd be more than happy to feature him once again. So, yeah, right now we're just kind of chilling. We're just waiting. Most likely we only have enough time for one more series, for one more best of 5, just because we're wrapping up. You know, all these matches are concluding, they are finishing up, and yeah, we're just running out of games. So again, most likely just going to be waiting for some of these center matches to open up, and we'll be jumping on them. I imagine Indy is... I can actually just double check. I imagine Indy is covering Geralt versus Scarlet. That would make the most sense. Let me just double check. Big shout out to Indy. Indy, the Polish caster. And yes, he's mid-series. They're in game number 2, which means we should have a game 3 available momentarily. They're still in the early game. So we're going to be going on a short break. Take this moment to hydrate hydras, stretch roaches, massage your marines. When we return, we will have our next series. See you soon. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that break. Hope you enjoyed that brutal OST, because we have returned with our next qualifying match. We are jumping in mid-series into this ZVP Best of 5. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have the Canadian Zerg player representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 2-0. It is Scarlet. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have her opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming, down in this series, hoping to fight back, looking to fight back. It is Geralt. And let's go. Geralt's going to be mining through those mineral patches in the center of the map. He's going to be checking, just making sure that Scarlet isn't rushing into a gold base of her own, as we do see a hatch gas pool opener. A standard gold base is going to be taken from Scarlet. Geralt just making sure that that is going to be the case. I mentioned before when we were casting Blythe versus Gumiho, it is not unheard of for Zerg players to rush into this gold very quickly, so Geralt just making sure that's the case. He does check and make sure that the mineral patches have not been mined out, and Geralt can get into his own opener. Again, it is very important as a Protoss player to shut down this gold base as quickly as possible, or just get a read on it as quickly as possible if it is taken. So this has become kind of the norm scouting pattern in recent times in PvZs, just to make sure. As Geralt is going to be dipping into that natural, checking the timing, of course, confirming the hatch gas pool, the standard opener of Scarlet. Let's go. As we ease ourselves into this, probe is going to be annoying. Now, when it comes to this series so far, we're in game 3. Unfortunately, we weren't able to catch the first 2 games that were happening at the same time as Gumiho versus Blythe. What I can say is that game number 2 did go to the late game. I say the late game. Scarlet, she was on 4-base saturation, went up to Hydroelectric Viper, and Geralt was sticking with a more kind of gateway-centric composition with Archons and Immortals, and wasn't able to keep up. Geralt has had a rough time so far this series. I don't know what happened in game number 1. If you were tuning into Indie Stream, maybe you can let us know. I believe Zombie Grub was also covering game 1 as well, but I think she lagged out of game 2. Unfortunately, Zombie Grub's stream did go down, so there was no English coverage, and at least we are providing English coverage here for this Best of 5. Thank you. As we have our take of choice, it's going to be a Stargate opener from Geralt. We do have our Stargate here on the way. Should be for an Oracle first, but we'll keep an eye on him. We'll see if we go for a Void Ray instead, as we do have our rally across the map. And again, Geralt, he's fought hard to get here, to make it this far. I'm hoping we can get a series out of this. I'm hoping we can go all the way to a game 5, but it's not on me. It's on Geralt. Of course, earlier today we were casting him against Wayne, and they also went to the ace match. They went all the way game 5, and Geralt was able to take Wayne down. He was able to win that series. Can he do the same here? But now Scarlet making an extra wave of Lings. Adepts are going to be threatening a Shade in towards that third. So far, no major damage done, no dead workers, not yet. As Geralt confirms the third. Scarlet investing quite heavily into these Lings, and we're just going across the map, looking to chase down these Shades. Looking to catch at these Adepts. Really good positioning here from Geralt, but he will still be cleaned up. And using the terrain to his advantage, reducing that surface area. One Adept goes down, and we're going to chase this all the way to the third base, forcing the first Oracle to stay at home. Again, without the Oracle, we'd most likely force a cancel. We force the activation of the Pulsar Beam. We have a second Oracle on the way. So far, everything's looking normal. Stargate opener into a third base with Oracles. Everything's looking normal. As standard can be. Now, from here, this is where we can mix things up. And there we go. We do have a slight gateway explosion. 2 more gates are thrown down. I'm feeling a Twilight Council follow-up. We may look to delay the Forge. We shall see. As the Oracles are moving out, there we go. Twilight Council is on the way. No Forge yet. As he does check, he does confirm the gold. As Scarlet is racing into that fourth. Rushing into that gold. I say rushing. You know, it's a fourth base. You know, a bit of a more conservative fourth base timing here from Scarlet. Or conservative goal base, I should say, from Scarlet. As again, there's no forge. This looks like Glaive Adepts. It's going to be 4 gateways in total. No Robo alongside this. But without a forge, unlikely for it to be something like Blink. But we'll see what Geralt has to offer. As the Overlord is going to be shut down. Third base is getting up and running. We do have a wave of Stalkers alongside this. Here we go. We are going to be pushing out. Moving across the map. And it is not going to be Glaives. It's going to... There we go. It is going to be Blink. There's that forge that we were missing. So a bit of a delayed forge and a delayed upgrade. But with those delays, what we have is a faster army. We're moving out and we're looking to try to punish this gold. Hatchery taking a lot of hits. The rocks have yet to be knocked down. Scarlet doesn't have much of an army. Her Lings are just now moving out. And there's going to be a kill on this hatchery. Big pick-off. At the same time, Scarlet going for a big counterattack. Do we have a recall back home? We do have Stalkers in position and a shield battery. Here, the Stalkers, they deflect the Lings, and the hatchery does go down. So really nice moves here from Geralt. It did mean that he has a delayed forge and delayed upgrades, but we're getting there nonetheless. As Geralt takes control of the center of the map, Scarlet trying to take a backup fourth here on the left-hand side. And Geralt is rotating over. Good Revelation, picks off a couple of those tumors, could even pick off the Overlord as well. Meanwhile, Scarlet did skip her Roach Warren. We're going into Ling Hydra as our composition of choice, which does very well against Blink Stalkers. Hydras are in production, but we're looking for a cancel. And it looks like we should be able to get it. Stasis Trap is baited out, and we need another volley. Oh, we do get the cancel just in time, forcing the recall as well. 2 Stalkers go down. But good damage done overall. At the same time, Adepts, they shade into the third. 3 drones. Geralt, he's popping off. He's taking the goal base for his own. But here comes the push. Lings and Hydra. Scarlet, she's cutting workers here at 56. Just under 3 base saturation. The Stalkers are in position. They did recall earlier. Additional shield batteries are on the way. Cannons as well. Hydra's looking a little bit exposed. 1 Hydra gets picked off. Nice moves out of Geralt. Good blinks as well. Does avoid the surround. Meanwhile, Scarlet is very much so committed. And Stasis Traps are on the way. Static Defense is finishing up just in time. Bit of an overextension. 2 Hydras, 3 Hydras get picked off. And Scarlet, looks like she has recognized she cannot end the game. We are starting to drone. But these have been expensive losses for Scarlet. And yeah, she's now droning back at home. This is late saturation from Scarlet. Geralt is in a good position, especially with taking this goal base. And Scarlet has yet to say... she saw the pylon. She is aware. Is going to be rotating over. The rocks are knocked down just in time, but where's the shield batteries? Where's the static defense? It is not here. The Oracles, they try to come in to support, but it looks like Scarlet, she takes control of the gold, and she will be forcing a kill. She'll be sniping the space, and neither player can get their goal bases up and running. So really good movement out of Scarlet. Again, Geralt just wasn't ready with his shield batteries. He's going for a big counterattack, but there is no fourth because Scarlet is expanding towards the right-hand side. So Geralt's not quite able to punish it. Does rotate over. Good position. Shaves off some Lings. Charge is still on the way with +2. We still need a little bit more time. Geralt taking a safer 4th base this time. Here we go. We have Zealots on the right-hand side. Creep is being denied in the center. Big revelation on this army. It's going to be a Lingbane Hydra from Scarlet. That's a lot of Hydras. And especially with the addition of these Banelings, these Zealots are going to have a hard time closing the distance. But they are poised to go for that 4th. Now Geralt, he doesn't know if the goal base has been taken or the linear 4th has been taken. Geralt is in the dark. Do have some Zealot Rumbites coming in. Checking for that hatchery. Ooh, the Stalkers taking a lot of hits. As well as they just go straight for the natural. At the same time, we're going for the main, we're going for the gold, we're going for all these bases. The Hydras are going to be able to stand strong. We have Zealots here pushing towards that 3rd base, but there are Banelings in position. Zealots do waddle into the main. Drones are going down. Hydras are getting picked up. Geralt, he's pulling Scarlet apart. Queens are falling. Geralt gaining ground. 13 drones go down as well. And Geralt will eventually be cleaned up. That one Zealot going ham in the main. Getting work done. And yes, Scarlet, she's, again, having a hard time here. Does at least have the gold, and that will help when it comes to all these worker losses, but that is still 15 dead drones. And we're not done. Another Zealot run-by is moving out. The Stalker count still looking quite healthy. +2 has kicked in. Scarlet rotating towards the right-hand side. That's a lot of Hydras. My god, that's more than normal. 39 Hydras. Almost, essentially a pure Hydra army. Where is the splash damage? Colossus, Storm, Disruptors. We need something. A purely Gateway army doesn't cut it. We're going for Stalkers. I think I would have liked Zealots actually, but regardless, here we go. We're pushing in. Scarlet being forced back. Zealot run by coming in once again, but we have Banelings. We have Banelings to defend the Zealot. They do split. Just barely, as the Hydras are racing back home. Zealots are being cleaned up. They don't really get too much done. We do have some stack defense, some spine crawlers in position. But Geralt does at least force back the army. Scarlet, though, she's recovering. 5th hatchery on the way. A good amount of drones as well. 12 workers here at the gold. Banelings are finishing up. Do we have a Lurker Den? We do not so far. Still just Lingbane Hydra. Dark Templar coming in, but we have detection. We do have some Spore Crawlers. Decent trades from these Stalkers. The Adepts, sorry, the DTs, they could go for this Fringe base. They don't commit. There we go. Static Defense on the way. Spores and Spines. Meanwhile, there is Storm. This Storm is very late, by the way. This is a late Storm out of Geralt. Because of how late this is, he just wasn't able to push into these Hydras. Wasn't able to break through. He's picking up a couple of units here and there, but he can't do much more than that. Up, the Lings! They come in! Geralt leaving his army a little bit idle. He is forced back. Dark Templar get cleaned up. The game is settling. Scarlet has maxed out. Now, on the one hand, the Storm is late from Geralt, true. But on the other hand, the Hive is also a bit delayed here from Scarlet because of all the economic damage done earlier. So, both players have been hurting their own ways. Both players are recovering. Scarlet, though, is the first to max out. And we have a massive Lingbane army getting ready to lay siege upon that 5th. Sorry, 6th base even. It's a lot of stack defense, though. A lot of stasis traps. Here we go, big connections here on the Lings. Banelings, though, they roll on in, they should get into the mineral line. Geralt does not turn back around. He's going to be losing a lot of probes back at home. The Banelings, they're not done, they're going straight for the 3rd. At the same time, a massive Zealot counterattack. The Banelings, oh my god, we blinked just in time. We do protect the mineral line. But the Lings are still wreaking havoc here on the 6th Nexus. Overcharge, doing what it can. The Zealot run-by was cleaned up, and here come those Hydras. And now Scarlet is pulling Geralt apart. Geralt, he's losing his 6th base, and even the 5th, the gold. We need the gold base, and it's going to be targeted down. And Scarlet getting out of control. Where are those Storms, by the way? Just didn't have them ready. Geralt is hurting. He needs to get a Nexus up and running. Scarlet has map control. She's ready to push in once again. Stage trap going to be going up. Hydra's rotating towards that gold. And once again, they force a cancel. So you're going to cancel on that Nexus. Lingbane coming in once again. Geralt, he just can't keep up. Forces back the Lingbane, but he's losing ground on the right-hand side. There is a High Templar in position. We do have a Storm. Scarlet, she's breaking through. Distracting the army. Lingbane here on the left-hand side. Geralt, can he keep up? So far, he's holding. Does hold on to his 4th. Does get a revelation on the Lingbane. Where's the Storm? We get a full surround. The High Templar gets picked off. Ay. Lingbane getting out of control here. Scarlet continuing to remax. Still no Lurker Den. Unfortunately, we do have a Hive. No Vipers either, though. Scarlet just focusing on a much more mobile army composition. Getting 3-3. Adrenal glands. Adrenal is done. Now, Geralt, he is slowly maxing out. He's getting there. Geralt, he just has to weather the storm a little bit longer. As Scarlet continues to deny the 5th base. Over and over again. That's all she really needs to do. Oh, as she is going to be out-positioning a big portion of this army, going straight for the High Templar. The Storms! 2 High Templar go down. Storms are not here in time. We're going to back off. We're not going to commit. Again, the goal here is to just deny the 5th. But Geralt? Again, he's catching up with the supplies. Holds on to his 5th a little bit longer. Oh, not much here at the 4th, though. Not much in position. The Banelings, they're going for it. Okay, they go straight for the mineral line. Big storm on the Hydras, but the probes, can they escape? No! They cannot. Big connections. Dark Shrine goes down. The mineral line as well. That's 21 dead workers. And the Hydras, they just stutter step forward. They get on top of the Robo. They shut it down. Again, that's really the damage that Scarlet's been looking for. That's what she's been waiting for. Additional probes go down here at the would-be 5th. Geralt does clean up these Lings. But Scarlet, she can remax. She has the economy for it. Geralt doesn't. And it looks like we're triggering a counterattack. But Geralt, his army is segmented. He doesn't have everything here. The Immortals. The Immortals are exposed. They're going to get picked up. One after the other. We have 1 High Templar left. We needed those storms and we don't have them. Not anymore. Scarlet is about to be surrounded, but she's cleaning up the Archons. Behind this, Zealot counterattacks are being cleaned up as well. Scarlet is running out of steam, but she takes down the 4th, and Geralt barely has anything left. He's fighting back. He's trying his hardest here to clean up these Hydras, but there's just so much more than just this. Nice control from that Immortal, but it goes down in the end. As Scarlet rolls in, no! The final mineral line, it goes down. 31 dead workers. GG gets called. Congratulations, and Scarlet will take the series 3-0, qualifying for the IEM Katowice 2024 Europe Server Closed Qualifier. GG. GG, well played. Again, Scarlet opting to stay on a low-tech army, like a lair-tech army, essentially. Just Lingbane Hydra, no Vipers, no Ultras, no Lurkers, none of that. Just a very high-tempo game, just constant harassing here at the 5th, at the 4th, at the 6th base, and eventually pulled Geralt apart. Geralt almost stabilized. He almost stabilized, was almost able to max out, but just wasn't able to keep up. And again, the splash damage was delayed. It was late. For a time, Geralt had map control. For a time, he had momentum, but that slowly slipped away. And Scarlet was able to just wrangle that map control back. And once she held onto it, she never let go. GG, well played. GG. And with that, Scarlet will qualify, and we are... Oh, hold on, I need to update the score. We are running out of games. We are running out of matches. We are running out of qualifying matches here, as we have quite a lot to go over. I may actually use the Liquipedia bracket this time, just because it's a little bit easier on the eyes. As we switch our scenes over. Bam. There we go. Okay, let's go. From the top, Gumiho. We casted this series. Gumiho was the first to qualify over Bly, making it through into that next round. Strange qualifies over Goblin. My condolences to Goblin, but Strange has been on fire recently. He does qualify in that best of 5. Scarlet just qualified over Geralt, 3-0. Meanwhile, Hearthstone versus Kelliser, they are still mid-series, and I believe they're the only series remaining. Bunny took down Wayne 3-2. That went all the way to the ace match. That went the distance. That was an amazing series, an amazing game. Bunny did make it in the end. My condolences, like Wayne, he's He's a great player. Could have gone either way. Could have gone either direction. Big win for Bunny. As we scroll down a little bit further, Jeshi with the upset, taking down Creator. Young Yakov 3-0ing Trigger. And Classic makes it over Gung Fu Banda in that final best of 5. In that last best of 5. Which means only one series left. Harstem versus Kellezer. I believe that's being casted by Steadfast. I think Steadfast is casting that in English, and I believe Cosmos is covering that in Portuguese or Brazilian. Let me just check that out. Big shout out to Cosmos, of course, the Brazilian caster, the best casters in all of Brazil. Oh, they're in game 2. They're tied up, which means we have one series left to cast. We will be following Kellezer and Harstem into the next game. Into game 5. Sorry, into game 4. Here we go. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Kellezer and Harstem, they're currently tied up 1-1, which means that they're soon to wrap up game number 3. But regardless of how it goes, regardless of if it goes Kellezer's way or Harstem's, there's going to be one more game afterwards. So, yeah, we have one series left to cast. We will be able to catch the tail end of that. Oh, and they are in the late game. Oh my god. Oh, Sir Robin. Oh, is that the Sir Robin from the Americas? Is that the ex-pro gamer? Sir Robin. I could be wrong. I believe the Zerg player. Yeah, I mean, could be someone else, but there used to be a pro gamer from the Americas called Sir Robin. If it's you, welcome. I mean, even if it's not you. Hope you're enjoying the cast. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Why is the viewer count so low? We're one of the smaller community casters out there. We're doing our best. You know, we're live every day. For those that are maybe tuning in for the first time, we are live every single day here on the CranKy Ducklings. We've been casting for many years as well. We've been casting ever since 2017. So we've been around for a long time, and yeah, we're consistent at least, and we're slowly growing. So we've been slowly growing over the past couple of years. We didn't go full time until COVID. So 2020 is basically where we started casting on a much more regular basis, almost on a daily basis. And nowadays we cast like between 1 and 3 times a day. It's pretty intense. It's been pretty intense. For example, today we casted earlier, I want to say like 8 hours ago, we were casting the Hatchery Cup. We were casting Hatchery Cup, which was a European monthly tournament. We casted Geralt versus Wayne in the finals. Yesterday we were covering the Asia server qualifiers, the open and closed qualifiers over the past couple of days. We've been covering Dream Hacks and IEMs and Home Story Cups and all that good stuff. So yeah, if you're interested, hit that follow button. You can follow us on YouTube. We're live over on YouTube at the same time, and we upload on a daily basis on our channel. Here we go. Meanwhile, as an update, we have our lobby. Kellezer, he's up 2-1 here against his opponent, against Harstem, and we're getting into game number 5. I'm hoping for an ace match, but here we go. Vámonos, vámonos. As we are loading in to Golden Aura. Havely Bold, Sir Robin. Yo, shout out to Bel Air in the chat. German caster. Bienvenidos. But here we go. We're diving into our final qualifying match, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran, currently teamless, but deserving to be on a team. Leading the series 2-1, it is Kellezer. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is his year. It's always his year. The year of Hearthstone. Representing the land of the Netherlands. Here we go. As again, we did miss out on the previous games, but what I can say is that Game 3 was on Oceanborn, and it did go to late game. It was a 25-minute or so game between the two of them, and Kelzer came out on top, just barely overcoming Hearthstone. But as has been stated in the chat, Hearthstone did pop off over the weekend during Home Story Cup. Hearthstone is in form, he's on fire. And if anyone can take it to the ace match, it is going to be him. I do want to believe that we can get another game out of this, but we'll see. The pressure is on Hearthstone. The pressure is on. As behind this, we are getting into a double gas opener. It's going to be a racks into a factory here from Kelzer. So a very aggressive opener, actually. He's going to be going for a delayed CC, prioritizing that factory instead. So aggression is going to be coming out from our Terran. Meanwhile, across the map, Hearthstone going for a gate expand into the Cybercore. Pretty standard opener here from our Red Protoss. Everything looking normal from the side of Hearthstone. As we're loading into Golden Aura, again a short rush distance by ground. Quite short indeed. So it does lead to a more aggressive playstyle. Likewise, though, we have seen a lot of split map scenarios on Golden Aura. We've been seeing a surprising amount of late game here, just because you can secure yourself on 3 and 4 bases quite heavily, and it can be difficult to kind of break that contain or break that setup. So we'll see where this takes us. For now, Kelzer are going to be going for a Cyclone-based opener. CC on the low ground afterwards. We're not going for like a 1-1-1 or a 1-base all-in. Just a delayed expansion from Kelzer. As he dips into the main base, going for the scout, and he does get eyes on the starport. The Stargate, I apologize. So Kelzer, he's aware of the tech of choice. With the Stargate opener, this should be to get into Phoenixes. This could also be Oracles. We can go one or the other. Phoenixes, they give you map control. Oracles, they're amazing at crippling the economy and getting some worker kills. So we will see where this takes us. We'll see how Hearthstone does approach this. Phoenixes will make the most sense. They're quite a robust way to open up, eventually leading into Colossus. But no, it is in fact going to be that Oracle. Okay, let's go. It is going to be an Oracle opener out of Hearthstone. Kelzer back at home and going for the medevac, going for a Cyclone drop. Hopefully he does leave a couple units back at home to defend, otherwise he will be left vulnerable. There's potential for damage for this Oracle. As Kelzer is fanning out his Cyclones, could even try to catch the Oracle in the center of the map. It is possible. Hearthstone, he didn't see the opener. He was denied entry into the main base. He doesn't know it was double gas. He doesn't know that Cyclones are already out. And it looks like Kelzer, he will barely miss the Oracle. Barely does pass him by. He's moving out with his Marines, which means we don't have much at home to defend. We have one Cyclone, and that's enough. One Cyclone is more than enough. We get the Revelation off. The army is missing. The army is across the map. Kelzer, he has arrived. Good lock-ons here on some of these gateway units. Adept does go down. And we're going to try to break the natural base. The boys, they have to be pulled. No shield battery, no overcharge, but we do pick up that Cyclone. Up! The Stalker barely does go down. The Cyclone picks up another one of those Stalkers. We are down to 2 Phoenixes. We focus down the... Oh my god, we just barely get the Oracle. And is this it? Does it all end here? The Phoenix is only 1 Phoenix left, and it will barely survive. We have 1 Stalker remaining, and Kelzer, he's looking to break in, looking to break through. The Cyclone's going for the mineral line. Marines are zoning away the Stalkers. Hearthstone does have a 3rd base. The Cyclone barely pulls back, and it will go down to the probes. But this is already far too much damage. This is just too much, and Kelzer, he's looking to qualify. GG gets called. He snowballs out of control. He breaks the natural. And Kelzer will be qualifying for the IEM Katowice 2024 European Closed Qualifier. GG. Oh my god. Again, it was a a risky move. It was a risky move for Hearthstone to go for the Oracle first. It did nothing. It did no damage across the map, and it got picked off immediately when it came back home. And again, Hearthstone was in the dark. He wasn't aware of how aggressive Kellezer was being. He didn't see the opener, and he didn't see the Cyclones as they moved out across the map. I didn't get to actually point it out, but during that defense, Hearthstone did go Phoenix into a third base. Very greedy, very economic build out of Hearthstone, rushing into that third, skipping out on additional gateways, which meant that Hearthstone had very little to defend. He was caught off guard. That's why we had no shield battery, no overcharge. Imagine, that was such a close defense as well, such a close attack. If there was a shield battery, if there was an overcharge, we would have most likely seen a different game. We would have seen extra warp ins and maybe Hearthstone holds, but again, he was caught with his pants down. GG, well played, and congratulations to Kellezer. My condolences to Hearthstone. Now, if you're a fan of some of these players, some of these big names that didn't make it today, like Hearthstone or Wayne, for example, Goblin, Bly, Creator, Gung Fu Banda, Trigger, to name a few, they have another chance in a couple of days. After the European qualifiers wrap up, the European server qualifiers wrap up, there's going to be an America's server qualifier over the weekend. I believe it was Saturday and Sunday, or Sunday and Monday. But over the weekend, we have the America's server qualifier. So there's still one final shot, and that's where everyone is going to be rocking up. The Koreans, the Europeans, the Americans that don't make it through, they're all going to be rocking up for the final chance to qualify for IEM. So as a result, you know, there's still opportunities for these players, but it's going to be difficult. It is coming down to the wire. So best of luck. You know, I do hope that Hearthstone has another chance, and I do hope that he has, or that he's able to make it through. Always an amazing player to cover. Not just Hearthstone, but players like Dolan as well, Bly, Goblin, all the players that we just mentioned. Again, do wish them the best. Do wish them the best of luck. But with that, we are done. We are done here for the evening. That is our final player making it through in the end, and I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. I know there are a lot of people that are maybe tuning in for the first time, that have maybe not have found us before, but again, you know, we cast here on the CranKy Ducklings. We cast on a daily basis, and we have, well, I mean, as I say that, we have our next broadcast coming up. Let me just double check the calendar. This weekend is going to be pretty intense. It's always intense for us here on the CranKy Ducklings. Typically, Saturday and Sunday, we have like 2 or 3 events to cover, and this week is no different. So our next broadcast is going to be WTL. World Team League is this weekend, and in how many hours? I think 12 hours time. 15. So in 15 hours time, which is a ways away. I mean, I can sleep. I can sleep. I can get some food. I can actually get some rest. But in 15 hours, we're going to be live once again here on this channel with World Team League, with day number 1 of round 10. Yeah, round 10 of WTL. So we will be covering World Team League, and that is going to be followed by the closed qualifier. So back to back, WTL is going to be leading into the closed qualifier for the European server, which is the continuation of this broadcast essentially. So back to back, 2 broadcasts in a row. Then after that, I'm going to be getting a couple of hours of sleep, and then we're going to be back with KSL, the Korean StarCraft League. That is going to be on Saturday, a day from now, a day and 5 hours from now. Then we have day 2 of WTL. Then we have the Americas qualifiers. Then day 3 of WTL. Then the closed qualifiers of Americas. And yeah, a lot of StarCraft. A lot of StarCraft. I think we have something else as well. Do we have... Oh, right, I forgot. We also have an OSC King of the Hill 24-hour marathon on Sunday. Now, we won't be casting for 24 hours. I believe we're going to be rotating between ourselves, Steadfast, Behemoth, Wardy. It's basically an end-of-year celebration for OSC. So on Sunday, there is going to be 24-hour StarCraft, and we're going to be rotating between a bunch of casters, between a bunch of streams. That's also how we end the weekend. So, yeah. A lot of StarCraft, puppy. A lot of StarCraft. Look forward to it. Look forward to it. Again, we're always busy here on the CranKy Ducklings. If you're interested, hit that follow button. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a Discord server. We have a YouTube channel as well. So you can follow us there. If you cannot tune in live, if you are interested in anything that I just said in any of those broadcasts, and you can't watch live, then VODs will be available on YouTube. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is 8 a.m. here in Australia. 8 a.m. in the morning. We started casting at 5 a.m. and I'm starving. I'm going to quickly get some breakfast. I'm going to get some food. And then I'm going to pass out. I'm going to pass out. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for WTL. Later on tonight for us, but tomorrow for everyone else. So, thank you. Thank you for watching. And yeah, until then, hasta luego. And congratulations to all the qualified players and best of luck tomorrow. Until then, bye. Bye. Hasta luego. Papi, hasta luego. Enjoy the outro.
Making history. Absolutely phenomenal.
And Ace is the champion of the Intel Extreme Masters World Finals.
Storm's still not quite done. MC is going to take this fight, though. 3 seconds left.
Last 2 rounds of matches got to start it well for ESC.
And this is a massive move for Zez, but he's not content with just a Nexus kill. He wants to win.
And it's all done. A flawless win. Unbelievable Rogue with a 4-0 victory over Classic.
And they did it again in the grand finals. It's no